Alright, we're back. For our next series, it's a quarterfinal matchup between number 2 seed respective players and the winner of our last series, number 7 seed Pacific Esports. Pacific won the coin toss and chose second pick respective players, took the Radiant side. I am excited to see these teams go out at respective players. A very scary stack, including Satanic, who I am told is rank 13 at just 15 years old in their carry role. Really exciting player to get to watch. This series should be fun. Pacific, they had a pretty decisive win overall, I'd say, in that last series, so they're coming in feeling pretty good. First game was super long, it was 70 minutes, but Pacific was in the lead for most of it. They just needed that little extra oomph to close it out. And then game 2, they just rolled and closed it out in under 30 minutes. Alright, so we're going to get 4 bans from Pacific here, 3 bans from respective players. Respective targeting the off lane with the bans of Timbersaw and Dawnbreaker, potential mid lane picks too, but heroes we most often see in the off lane. Pacific, same thing as last game, so it seems like these are not targeted bans that they're going for. These are just like heroes that they want absolutely nothing to do with. With TA, Undying, Gyrocopter, and Nature's Prophet, these were all heroes we saw them banning out last game as well. Strong carries, strong like carry mid flex in TA, Undying, still one of the best position 5s in the game. Invoker making it through the bans, so we could get some spicy Invoker play here. With his upgrade to being a universal hero, he has been much more in the meta. He was like very out of meta last patch, and now he is right up there as one of the top mid laners. Curious if we're going to see that coming out. It's going to be the Dark Will. This was another big winner of the patch. With the change to Bedlam, the fact that she can now put Bedlam on an ally instead of having to have it circle herself. Massive upgrade for this hero. Huge buff, makes her like able to just dump out damage. Alright, and we're going to see the same draft strategy that Pacific had last series. I love it. So they've got Earthshaker and Rubik that they flex between mid and support. And it's just, like, you don't know until the players lock in their heroes where the heroes are going, and so it makes it so much harder to draft into them. It's a really cool flex, and these heroes have both looked very powerful in the hands of both Rosent, their mid, and the supports, which it's switched between the two of them, Monstar and JPC, which one actually plays it. So yeah, it is I really like the draft strategy, and I like Rubik more as the opener, because it kind of, I don't know, it forces you in less of a direction with the draft, but I think it's going to be the same either way. I think they're going to do Baker directly into Rubik, and then really not give any information to respective players, and they have to pick 2 more heroes and have to show 3 total at that point when they have basically no information on what Pacific's draft looks like, other than the Earthshaker and Rubik are somewhere. So if you can beat those heroes regardless of where they lane. I think it's hard though, because the lane matchup for mid is so different between Earthshaker and Rubik. Like, they're both pretty heavy magic damage, but not, they play very differently. Rubik wants to sit very far away. Earthshaker is going to be right up in the lane, slamming down the enchant totems. Respective players choosing to target the support role next. They go after Shadow Demon and Ancient Apparition. And then Queen of Pain banned out. And it is, yeah, it's the Rubik. They're rolling with the same draft strategy, and because it's working for him. We're going to get the IO from respective players, so that's why you see the Ancient Apparition ban. Protect the healing ability of your IO. So this is, I was gonna say that this is probably your support duo we see so far, but I know some. I don't know how many pro teams are doing it, but I know like Koikva's been playing carry Io in his pubs. We might see like an Io Marcy pairing here. If we see the Marcy come out, I think that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, I'm curious to see if this is going to be a traditional support IO. And I mean, we had the gyrocopter banned out, but we might see some other carry that's like a classic IO pairing. You could go for the Sven. Sven has felt a lot better this patch. So that's one we could see come out. Or Core Tiny hasn't been very popular lately. Still been getting played a bit mid, so that could be an option. I don't know that he likes a mid Rubik matchup, though. His respective players getting a little deeper into their reserve time, deciding what they want to show here. It's going to be the Legion Commander, so still some flex potential. And I really like the Legion Commander with the new Bedlam ability for Dark Willow. Like, Legion, like, you want some hero. It's kind of like playing with a Grimstroke and drafting around Inkswell. You want heroes that dive in. Legion Commander is very good at holding a person in one place. And so it's kind of like the Legion Commander Skywrath classic combo. You just have a guaranteed bunch of magic damage that you can put on top of the duel with this new Bedlam from Dota. Alright, so now we're going to see the more moving pieces of Pacific's drafting. Like we've seen, I mean, Earthshaker and Rubik, we said they can move around, but those have been consistent between the two games they've played so far, and now the third one. Their other three heroes they've swapped around, so I'm curious what they want to go for. They played a Tusk. Like, we see the Shadow Demon ban was probably to protect the Legion Commander, because the Banish is a very good save for duel. So we could see them go back to the Tusk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was JPC that played it in Game 1 against KNGI. That gives you a potential option for a save. That's the best one that they have, because Undying's banned out, Shadow Demon's banned out. They're going to go a little deep into the think tank themselves.
Dyer's turn to pick.
45 things will do. They're going to go back to the Darkseer. This was, I think, played on both sides in the last series. It's looked really good. It's been a solid offlaner in general on this patch, and Pacific has played it very well. In the hands of Resi. And yeah, they do go for the Tusk. So that's going to be their option for saving in the Legion Commander.
Monkey King.
And now we get a Monkey King. So that's probably a pairing with the IO, with the Monkey King being the carry. But it could be a Monkey King mid. I think that's more popular in pubs than in actual pro games. That will be, if that's their carry, that's going to be a fun one to get to watch Satanic play. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But a carry Legion Commander also very viable right now. There's a lot of flexibility in respective players' draft, especially if they're considering the option of a core IO. And I feel like Legion Commander and Monkey King are both pretty nice targets for an overcharge. To really buff up the Monkey King inside Wukong's, help keep him alive so he can just stand his ground and bully people in there. We got the Slark band out, which Pacific responds to with the Storm Spirit. So they think that Respective is looking for a mid here. Which I think is most likely. I think that's the most straightforward way to play this Respective player's draft. Is 1 Monkey, 3 Legion, 4 Dark Willow, 5 IO. Yeah, and they banned the Invoker. Made it this far into the draft, but does not make it all the way through. And Slark Shadow Fiend, so they're thinking a potential Shadow Fiend carry. We know Pacific should be looking for their carry here. None of these heroes are traditional carries. We don't know where Earthshaker Rubik are going, but that's okay, because we know that one of them's a support, one of them's mid. There's not further flexibility than that. Alright, what do respective players want to finish off this draft with? Oh, it's a Tinker. Whew. So you now have a ton of global presence, because you have Tinker plus Io who can relocate to follow up. This is a gross pick, and this Tinker is going to do both things. Also is going to delete people in Duel, is going to be like really nice for helping secure that. And you have Io as like a mana battery option for the Tinkers. So this is a spooky one. And I feel like this is a pretty decent answer to this Earthshaker Rubik mid situation. Like, I feel like Tinker will lane pretty well into both of those heroes. Neither one of them want to get constantly zapped and blasted by rockets. So, yeah, this is a really nice Tinker pickup, I think. Pacific are going to close out the draft with the Morphling. We saw it in Game 1. It looked really good. Has the options to turn into a Legion Commander or a Monkey King, even a Tinker, like the Blind, stealing the Blind. They have it on Rubik too. This is actually the same draft that Pacific ran in Game 1, now that I look at it again. And I love that you have this trio of Rubik, who is going to be support, this time played by Monstar, Rubik, Darkseer, Morphling, all just turn the enemy team against themselves. You get the Wall of Replica for the illusions, Morphling turns into one of your enemy heroes, Rubik steals their spells. So, like, whatever respective players are doing, if their draft is busted, well, kind of so is Pacific's, because they get to steal most of their draft all at once. Oh, you have the potential, I don't know, because we didn't see Falco go for the Ags in, like, a very long game. Like, in 70 minutes, he never bothered to get the Ags on Morphling. So I imagine he's not really thinking about it, but if you get the Ags and shift into Dark Willow, that can be a little bonkers if you have the Dark Willow Ags with Morphling's damage. Because you can morph into Dark Willow, pop Shadow Realm, morph back into Morphling, have all of Morphling's right-click like normal attack damage, physical damage, and the magic damage from Dark Willow, and all of the agi from Morphling. I really want to see him get an Ags and just become the Dark Willow that respective players will probably not see until later in the game. If we get that far. Alright, so
prepare yourselves for the main event.
We have... It's going to be Io and Legion. Looks like they're all headed down towards this bot lane. I assume the Monkey King will eventually be the carry. I know... Oh, I can't see. I know they go by Satanic, but they just have the name King in-game. I think that is... Player. We're going to get... JPC is going to spot out this courier... carrying Io. The ice shards don't quite block them off from getting up the high ground, so they will be able to chase forward and push them back. But it's just the triangle they're taking control of, not necessarily the spot that a rune's going to spawn. And there's enough heroes from Pacific here that they aren't actually going to be able to chase them back. Or they'll just be able to chase them back. They're not going to find a kill yet. But now they're going to keep looking forward. King looking for something. I don't know which taunt that was. Rubik is super fun at that. You're gonna square up around this room. King fakes the Boundless Strike. We'll just back off. So yeah, it's gonna be Io Monkey King down in the bot lane up top. There's Falco on the Morphling, who actually took quite a bit of damage from the root. Or maybe it's just been shifting stats. JPC making the way over to lane. They're actually going to collide with Imbo over here, and they get the ice shards. So the roots are not going to be enough to escape, and JPC is going to tank the brambles, and it'll be first blood for Falco.
First blood.
Thanks. Pick up on the Morphling. Great way to start a game for your carry. Mid lane. So Rosent chose to have the Earthshaker into the Tinker matchup. rather than the Rubik. Assume that's what they think is the more favorable matchup. I really don't know, because they're heroes that we see so infrequently in the mid lane, and Tinker is kind of a specialist mid hero, not one we see super often. But I feel like whether they went with Earthshaker or Rubik, the Tinker was going to be hard to play into. See what Lens can do on this hero. How Rosen can respond. Things pretty chill so far. Fago getting brought down a little low and is going to get caught in the brambles, but JPC is there to kind of discourage the opposing team. They'll be able to back off. Bot lane, I think, is going to be a little bit of a sleeper because you've got this IO keeping the Monkey King topped off. JPC throwing out the ice shards, but getting very harassed by the attack range of the Dark Willow. Already pretty low in region, and actually gives that last tango over to Morphling, so it's just going to be trying to survive here. Not quite getting the deny as Andre Key steps up. Now the overwhelming odds comes in. This actually could be a little pick off. JPC just able to escape. Drosen getting nice and deep under this mid tower. Seems to be handling the matchup with the Tinker pretty well.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
That's bot side. Courier gets caught making his way over to Io. Monstar picks it up. So this is the third different hero we've gotten to see play Rubik for Pacific. They're different players. Jingu stacks getting picked up by King, but just going to use them to push them back, regen up. Brambles coming out again in the tag team, out onto Andre Key. Overwhelming odds to try to turn it around, but Andre Key falling lower and lower. Legion Commander is going to go down. Imba trying to get enough damage into the Morphling, but has plenty of strength to shift into, and Imba falling low themselves will be forced to walk away. Still pretty even in the mid lane. Present throwing down the fissure. Lots of stuns, but the nukes are coming out. Oh, just has enough from the bottle and fairy fire to survive. Now I'm gonna go back in with the stun. Leveling up Aftershock first. Lens takes a hit from the tower, trying to get over towards the runes, but they don't spawn for another 15 seconds, so Rosen's gonna give chase. Fissure comes down, blocks off the path back towards the tower, and the Enchant Totem finishes off the kill. Very nicely played by Rosen. King gets vacuumed back in, trying to stay alive with the heals from Io. Blood Grenade connects as well, but is going to just be able to bounce away. Ion Shell not quite connecting as that creep tries to chase him down, but King will survive for now. Monster still playing a little far up, is going to give up some Jingu stacks. Oh, Monstar baits out the Mischief, and King does not manage to dodge it. Dodge the Fade Bolt. Mischief comes down too early. I believe respective players is a little all over the place as far as region as top lane. You miss Fago getting a kill. Maybe going to turn this into a double. Shadow Realm comes out, and that's going to discourage them from chasing forward. Shadow Realm attack finishes out, but does not bring JPC too low. So it's now 5-0 in favor of Pacific to start off this early game with a 1k net worth lead. Yeah, I was going to say there's... I don't know how the ping situation is. I think it favors Pacific because they are an SA team. And respective players, I believe, is a little all over the place. I think they're mostly Eastern Europe, and I think their carry player might be SEA. They're going to get a rotation over towards the mid lane and try to find another kill on the Lens, and they will. Pro not able to get there in time. Imba making the rotation as well, but it's right into an Echo Slam. They are going to bring down Rosen. Monster trying to finish off the Io, but is now getting too far under tower and is going to get chased back by Imba. Monster now has to be careful. is gonna just survive. Turns with a Fade Bolt, actually kills the IO, but goes down themselves.
Double kill.
Which means it's a killing spree just in time to give it up over to Imba.
Dominating performance.
And top lane again, with Imba being forced to rotate away. Falco and JVC find the kill onto the Legion Commander. So a rough start so far for this Legion Commander, and that had to be intentional, right? JPC going down to the neutral creep. Falco finds Imba, who has a double damage rune. Which means that's going to be a big attack, but Falco will be able to survive and shift over into strength.
Mega kill.
And I have to stop looking away because Falco is just killing these heroes every time I stop looking at this lane. I am going to look back at bot because it looks like there's more action happening over here. Goes for the cliff but does not quite find it on King. So now trying to escape. 3 Jingu stacks up, but will be able to walk away. JPC is going to rotate over to this area. Well, maybe look for something on the IOs. King is backed away, and Rezi's over in the area. With the Ion Shell and the tag team, there's a lot of damage, but does get the tether away, and the snowball does not quite connect. Now they maybe have an opportunity to turn on to King, but has... Oh, they get the vacuum, but the Jingu stacks are too much. The Boundless Strike fully heals King, and they're able to turn it around. Now looking on to Rezi for more. Can they get another set of Jingu stacks? The lift up will throw him back and save Rezi. But making another rotation over towards the mid lane. Looks like they have spotted out this ward. Garrison's actually just going to start denying it. Oh no. Net worth Falco off of these kills. Holy cow, what a lead to start this game. Zimba contesting the runes, but ends up spawning bottom, and it's going to be Monstar and JPC securing it for Rosen. Zimba's still going to try to contest it, but is going to find Monster there. They're just... Neither one of them really wanted to deal with each other, so they're just going to back away. Pro and King looking over towards Rezi, trying to stop this Darkseer from cutting. They're going to chase back up and find Imba up there, so immediately caught into a bramble. They get the vacuum in the wall. The illusions are not dealing enough. King, with one last swing of the staff, brings him down. He's going to find another double kill for King. Finding both supports. Now, Rosen has rotated over, wants to find an Echo Slam here, but they've all split up. Very nice positioning from respective players, and the Echo Slam only gets a little bit of damage off of the creep camp, but now with the fissure, the stun up, no, King offers the high five, picks up the triple kill, and all of a sudden this Monkey King is looking much scarier.
Look to their top tower.
That's going to be going for the Diffusal Blade first on the Monkey King. That's the Blade of Alacrity to get closer to that. Mana Boot's going back for the Soul Ring on Darkseer. Doesn't come back over to lane. Still not much for items, just working towards that Blink Dagger, which Lens almost has on this Tinker. Rosen once again going for the Ags Rush, which worked out very well for them last game. So Andre Key maybe looking for their first duel, has hit level 6. JPC is going to walk over here, shows up in vision, but he's a little content. Just hitting the creep wave for now. Is Bot King continuing to chase down Rezi? Here comes the IO to bring the overcharge. They're going to get the Jingu stacks. Rotation coming in. And Tinker gets the surge away, but the laser is there to finish it off. Now top. Oh no, Andre Key could be in trouble again. Snowball is going to connect for the stun. Waveform in from Falco. Going to try to dispel it off, but it's all too much. Oh, or did they back off too soon? No, they finish it off. Relocate with King in though. Pro brings in the Monkey King, and they're going to try to turn this around. Looks forward, nice spring over to pick off JPC. Tinker makes their way over as well. That's the global presence we talked about in the draft. And so the response from respective players able to find these fights, get these pickoffs, get Monkey King farming as much as they can to try to match this great early start that Falco has had on the Morphling. Phase Boots ready, working on a Blink Dagger on the Legion Commander as well. It's a big Blink Dagger game. The Blink is finished on Tinker. I think that's why we saw him start making rotations. Probably eventually going to be an important Blink Dagger for Monstar. Well, Len's going to come down here. Nice big stacks made by presumably Janukra on the IO. That's going to be a nice injection of farm for the Morphling. Monstar hiding over in the trees. Maybe want to find something as Rosent and JPC. Yeah, they're going to make the rotation down here. I think they've got another Echo Slam on deck. Yep, that's exactly what they're looking for. But do they know that Lens is here too? Could turn this fight into a lot more trouble than they expect. They're going to set up with the Fissure onto 2 into the Vacuum and the Stolen Boundless Strike. Rezi is the first one to go down. Getting brought down very low. The Echo Slam comes out, lowers down King, but it's not enough. Unstoppable now on the Monkey King, chasing Rosen out. Falco rotates in as well, but here comes Legion Commander. Rosen trying to escape, is going to get out for now. Bedlam gets stolen by Rubik. That can be a scary spell as Andre Key shows up. Wants to get a duel, but it looks like Pacific. They're just going to back up, and somehow I missed Tinker dying in all of that? I need to see that Death Summary before he responds. No! It's actually 2 kills picked up by Pacific. They're going to keep this train rolling right over towards mid lane. Len's showing up as well. And Janukro off of the respawn. They want to commit towards this mid lane now. Imba rotating over as well. JPC testing the waters over here by the triangle. Wants to help defend this mid tower, but Pacific are going to have to bring some cores over here if they want to keep this mid tower alive, and I don't know that that's their priority right now. So now we're going to get the Primal Spring out onto the Rubik, who steals it and jumps away themselves. Does get rooted up by the Bramble, but is able to bounce away. Falco's going to rotate over, and they're going to get the Snowball, but able to Primal Spring. Does connect onto 2, and oh boy, John Pro gets deleted. The Waveform and the Walrus Punch, and the Adaptive Strike all connect and delete an IO. Now Imba in a little bit of trouble as well. Bedlam comes out on both heroes, both casting on themselves. They're just going to spin around. Actually a very good answer for the Shadow Realm. You need that AoE damage, and that's exactly how Monstar are able to bring down the Dark Willow. So Pacific up to a 4K net worth advantage, as they are getting the best of a lot of these fights. We've seen Monkey King playing very active. Has the Diffusal Blade, working on the Manta next. This is a big stats patch, is what it seems like to me. Even the heroes that aren't universal are all tending to go for the Manta, the Scotty. Anything with an Ultimate Orb seems to be a good ability, or good item, as Andre Key doesn't get the duel victory, it looks like, but does find a kill on the enemy offlaner of Rezi. That's gotta feel good. This Legion Commander has had a bit of a rough start to the game, but now is in pretty good shape. About to finish the Blink Dagger. So as soon as that duel's back off cooldown, we're going to see some more rotations coming out from the Legion Commander. Maybe give Monkey King a little more space to farm. Len's chewing away at these Ancients. Going to get a Shiva's Guard. Classic Tinker build as of right now. Overwhelming Blink and Shiva's Guard. Blink everywhere. Deal a ton of AoE damage. Gets pretty nutty, especially in the late game. That Tinker is, I think, going to be a huge late game factor that I think has the potential to outscale Falco. We've seen in like the 9 Pandas games some of these Tinkers that just like absolutely destroy the late game, become a complete menace. The smoke up from respective players, they set their sights on JPC, there's the Blink Dagger, there's the duel, and that will be the first duel victory for Andre Key. With all 5 heroes here, that should be a pretty quick mid-tower. King jumps forward to cut the waves. Rosen wants to defend this. at least wants to think about it. Has the Echo Slam on deck, but it's gonna back away. Falco heading over here as well. Being surged up. They have the fissure. Tinker's backed away, but the rest of respective players is staying in this area. Everybody just kind of stancing up around where this mid tower used to be, but nobody wanting to commit into a fight. Rosen has the Ags finished as well. I think that's really what they were looking to play around and really wanted to find a fight there. Rezi spent a lot of time alone down in this off lane. Got picked off once by Andraki. Lens, like they were considering doing the same. Rezi backing off safely. Another smoke up now from the Dire side. The smoke by the Radiant. We're currently on the Dire side. They're going to start off by jumping over onto Monstar. Once again, able to steal the Primal Spring, and it's actually going to be Lens who goes down first from the Walrus Punch. The damage from Rezi, but a huge Boundless Strike on a 3. That's going to connect into the Terrorize as well. They're all surviving for now. King, there's nobody left in the Wukong's command. And it's actually 3 of respective players who go down off of their own gank. King does find Monstar over on the backline, but Falco wants more. Waveforms forward, chasing forward with the Snowball as well. Can they find the connection on Johnny Pro? No, now King turns it around with the Boundless Strike, stuns up JPC, and bashes them to the ground. They get their return kills on the 2 supports, but overall, I mean, you had Legion and Tinker go down there. Still a very good fight for Pacific. Trying to maintain a hold of their lead after respective players finding some good pickoffs and fights. Rezi's still trying to push in this bottom tower, but has a couple heroes to contest with down here right now. They have really good vision around this, which is what has made it so safe for Rezi to play down here. They're going to bring Lens here as well. With both supports backing up Rezi, they're going to set up for a duel. They have, not able to get over there with the Snowball, is going to survive the duel, and the Ion Shell, it's actually going to be Andraki who goes down first. Lens does finish off the kill with the laser onto Rezi. Now King, godlike, finishing off Monstar. Falco's in, but they're not finding anything. They relocate away. Lens finishes off JPC on the other side of the fight. There should be an IO returning down there? I could have sworn that that was a relocate. We're now going to go right up into the triangle. Tether gets broken as King continues to charge forward, and then gets another one right on in to get John Pro in, and with the overcharge, the Jingu stacks, it overwhelms Rosen, and the Earthshaker goes down. Respective players, they've got a bit of momentum. They're going to try to turn that into more presence on the Dire side of the map. The big target here is Falco, who is 9-0. Both of these carries, 9-1 on King, 9-0 on Falco. Both are godlike.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So either of them is a huge prize, a huge net worth pinata, if either team can bring down one of these carries. We saw it in the last series. Falco barely died between the 2 games. Both on Morphling and then in Game 2 on Naga Siren.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We're going to make a rotation through the Twin Gates. King scouting things out up on the trees with the Primal Spring. Pacific is going to group up and smoke. Both teams kind of looking for a gank. I love how close this game is because... And the teams aren't sitting back thinking, oh, I don't know if we can take these fights. They're both looking for fights, and it's going to be Pacific that finds it. They find Impa stepping up the high ground and immediately bring down the Dark Willow. It felt like they were both looking for fights, but then it turns out to just end up being a single support pickoff. But Pacific's still playing in this area. Got Spirit Vessel done on Rubik as one piece of the answer for dealing with this Io and the Jingu stacks on the Monkey King.
Tower is under attack.
Got Manta feasibly done on Monkey. They're gonna relocate over, snag that Wisdom Rune. It's a nice little XP boost. Also finding an Ancient stack over here. But they're gonna return on the relocate. As over in the mid lane, Pacific pushing in towards the tower. They're actually a ton of damage on this tier 2. Imba being forced to back away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now they're gonna surge over. Rosent jumping back. They're all just kind of chilling up here. King looking for something, but he's gonna find a lot more than he bargains for. Get the vacuum up to the high ground. That's actually gonna help them out a little bit. The Echo Slam, it's there, but it's not too much damage. And the Terrorize is huge, saving King, giving them a chance to regen, and they completely turn the fight off of it. Rosen getting brought down now as well. Falco's getting brought low. King finally goes down, gets the godlike streak, and the duel. Oh, on Drakey with the help of Jonupro, they get the lead. So both godlike streaks are brought to an end. It's Falco picking it up off of King, but then Andraki taking the streak off of Falco. And overall, I mean, you lose your Monkey King, but you kill every single hero on the side of Pacific. Huge fight for respective players. What a turnaround. Massive play by the supports there. Both the Terrorize and then the regen from the Io, like, that Monkey King survived way longer than he was supposed to. We get a bit of a reset now. Guardian Greaves finish on Resi, working on a Blink Dagger again. Like, every hero in this game is going to have a Blink Dagger. JPC has one to help get the saves. Don't have Rubik going for one yet, but I'm sure we'll see that eventually. Rosent choosing to go for the BKB before the Blink Dagger. I think that's going to be a good option. And essentially has a Blink Dagger in the form of the Aghanim Scepter. No Blink Dagger from Monkey King, has plenty of mobility with Primal Spring, same thing for the Tether of Io. Blink on the Legion Commander. Probably won't see a Blink on the Dark Willow, but could. And of course Tinker, you gotta have a Blink Dagger. As the Shoeless Guard, gonna go for the E-Blade next, so more of the single target build. Again, it's the flash farming that you get. And they've been doing such a good job stacking on respective players. I wish I had the stats for the stats. Meanwhile, Pacific kind of catching respective players sleeping and farming. They're going to go pick up that first Roshan. So that is an Aegis of the Immortal for the Morphling. Give them a pretty big advantage in this next fight, which all of these fights have seemed very close. Even with the result of the last fight being so heavily respective players favored, it was on a knife's edge the entire fight. JPC, they find Imba again. Len's jumping forward now. The duel comes out, they're going to pick off Monstar off the side. Respective players now chasing forward. It's going to be another support pickup. So even fighting into the Aegis, respective players, they have the advantage of a little more coordination, and they find the kills on both the supports. Rosen looking for something, but Len's able to blink out from under the stun coming in from the Enchant Totem, and Rosen now going to be forced to back away. Oh, has the double damage ring, so really looking for something. Oh, and the relocate is perfectly placed, brings King exactly where he needs to be to bring down Rosen. Mega kill streak for Lens. What a, like, just out of nowhere. You're already, like, you feel like you're getting away, and then nope, 2 more heroes right on top of you. The support performance from respective players has been very impressive.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Still a good amount of time to play with on this Aegis, but it's definitely feeling like respective players are really starting to have the advantage as King's scouting out, looking for more. Once again, going to find quite a few heroes. The Boundless Strike from shifting into the Morphling. They had the vision of King up on the trees. They're going to wait for him down towards Jonabro. A huge vacuum into the wall, into the fissure. All of the stuns are here, but do they have the damage? Can they get through it all? The duel comes out. It's absolute chaos. King falls. Pacific, they've bounced back again. They win the fight. And they don't lose their Aegis. They cut through all of the healing with just the massive stacks of AoE abilities, one after the other. The Boundless Strike. This is what I'm saying with the stolen abilities. You get the press the attack in there. The vacuum just sets it all up. Really well played fight by Pacific. And on the back of that fight, they'll turn that into the Tier 2 mid tower. Paco now finished with Scotty, Manta, and Lincoln's working on the BKB. This Morphling on his own is hard to deal with. With these items, how do you kill this guy? Pretty similar build for the Monkey King. Has the Scotty and Manta as well. It's these big stat items, the ultimate orb items. Effective players, they're going to take a little time waiting out the Aegis to go clean up their Tormentor. It's going to be a shard for the IO. So Overcharge, this is a new Aghanim shard on the 7.34 patch. Slow resistance on Overcharge, which slow resistance is a new stat. And Spell Lifesteal, and shares that Spell Lifesteal with the target. The Spell Lifesteal, I mean, is going to be pretty big. Like, gives you an option to tether to the Tinker to give him more regen. Still Lifesteal off of his spells, and he does an ass load of magic damage. But I think the big thing is going to be the slow resistance. I guess it's not, like, this game in particular is not an incredible game for the IO shard. There are some important slows. Like the Wall of Replica is probably the big one, right? Yeah, 70% movement slow. Getting that slow resistance is going to be very nice to help IO get heroes out of these big AoEs. The team fight of Pacific is they'll go get a Tormentor of their own. It's going to be the upgraded Ice Shards for JPC. It looks like both teams, they're going to stack up around the bottom lane. Monstar is off on the side, but has the Twin Gates if they want to connect for something specific. They're going to go right in with the Echo Slam and the jump. Where did Andraki go? That Legion Commander is... There's a Gossamer's Cape, a Heaven's Halberd, a Blade Mail, Phase Boots. That is not a squishy hero. Now Rosen looking for something over towards Imba, and yeah, is going to find it. Imba put up a very good fight there. Bringing Rosen down to like half. Actually, the rocket's coming out from the vision. Almost enough to finish off the Earthstrike, which would have been a little nutty. Oko just going to step right up, but King's sitting there on the tree, gets the Boundless Strike, but now the Vacuum back. Waveforms forward. Try to mischief away, but they have the Fissure as well, but now Io's here with the heals. Walrus Punch, can they bring down the Monkey King? Can he get his string boost stacks in time? No, it's not enough. King falls. And now Pacific, they've brought down 2. Can they find more? Are they going to keep fighting? The damage from Lens, though, it's forcing them all back, but I'm going to region that back up and come back in. I'm going to wrap around with a smoke, see if they can find something. Oh, it's going to be on Drakey again, isn't it? Oh no, they get the Fissure. They have the Walrus Punch. It's the same story once again. Lens off on the side, trying to rein in the magic damage with this Tinker. The Rockets and the Shiva's Guard. But it's all just a bit of poke and not enough to bring anyone down. So the push onto this tower continues. Monkey King will be respawning in 5 seconds, but it's not going to be fast enough to save the tower. The tower will fall. And Pacific back in the driver's seat in this game. Just a big old back and forth going now. got BKB finished on Falco. We had the first use of that in that last fight. What other spicy things? We got Blink Dagger, working on an Aeon Disc for JPC. I don't love an Aeon Disc in a Tinker game. Like, Tinker has huge nukes, and you kind of need it to survive, but you also, like, I feel like my Aeon Disc just gets casually popped so easily when I'm playing against a Tinker because of how much range is on the rockets. But I am much worse than these players, so JPC is probably going to be much better at positioning than me and will not be taking a bunch of casual rockets to face. Rosen has the BKB and the Blink Dagger done, working on a Lincoln Sphere. We're going to get a smoke from respective players. March up through the Dire Jungle. Not going to immediately find anybody.
For enemies.
Scan out. But Monstar is in the Roche pit, but there's no Roche yet. Now Lens is actually going to be the one that's going to get the jump on JPC. Goes for the teleport away, but it will not be in time. And it looks like off of that pick, RP want to try to take a fight down bot, because they did have that scan. They're going to try to get a duel onto Monstar. Andre Key doesn't quite connect with it. Now will get the duel. Lens is going to be there to make sure they have the damage to finish it off. So both supports picked off. Means that respective players now, they're going to try to turn things back around. They get the pick as well onto Rezi. They have the stuns, and they have the laser Wicked 6 streak for Lens. Now going to follow up with the TP, the Blink onto Paco. E-Blade breaks the newly acquired Lincoln Sphere. Now King's there. Morphs into the Monkey King. So they're both trying to build up those Bingu stacks. Man, the mobility that Tinker gets off of the Monkey King. As Rosen, maybe going to be in trouble, but has the Shadow Blade. Lens has a sense of where they are, but doesn't have a source of VTech, so Rosen will be able to back away. And just when it looked like this roller coaster ride was on its final descent, nope. Respective players, they bounce back. The pendulum swings back towards the Radiant. Support's gonna smoke up to stand behind Rosen. They're not really anywhere near their respective players' side. I'll actually use a second smoke now to get more players in it. And they're going to start their march down towards where respective are playing. Respective starting to set up around the Roche pit, which has respawned. And it looks like they're just going to go right on in. Len's going to start bringing out the damage. And Pacific, they are not on the mark with this smoke. They're now going to finally make their way over towards the Roche pit. But respective players, they're ready and waiting. Scan comes out, so they know that they're in the Roche. Now we're going to get a smoke, another smoke from Pacific, actually. They're going to see this courier. They're all standing up on this high ground. King on the tree, and they're going to initiate onto Monstar once again. Try to take the Rubik out of the fight, but JPC gets the snowball save. Monstar will die as soon as they come back out. Buys back. Echo Slam is down. The vacuum through the wall, but is it enough? Can they find the kill? They're going to bring down John Pro. That's going to make it a lot easier to bring down some of these durable heroes. King now getting brought low. Can they actually turn this around? One more hit, but the Boundless Strike, it's going to be enough to give him some more space. He's going to chase forward, morphs into the Monkey King. They both Primal Spring away. Andreki now steps up, and Lens is here too, as now Falco could be in trouble. Has to wait for him back through. Rezi getting torn apart by the damage of Lens, getting blasted one after another, but the mana is low now. Andreki has to come in to try to finish it off, but the durability is too much with the Crimson Guard. King now coming back in, Boundless Strike to finally finish off the Darkseer. But now very low, has the BKB, but it's not enough. Does not prevent the magic damage fully anymore, and the Adaptive Strike brings down Monkey King. So all in all, I mean, super chaotic fight. It's a 3 for 3 at the end of the day, but I would say Pacific got the better 3. And they're now more in position to be able to go finish this Roche. Well, didn't actually end up taking that much damage and regen it all, but go get the Roche for themselves that respective tried to get. Imba gonna go try to scout this out. is going to see that with the wards. Now they spot it. Len's not going to finish the TP. It looks like respective players might be conceding this Roche, but Pacific, they don't take it super fast. The tag team will help. Falco should have the damage to bring this down pretty quickly, and it looks like respective players are going to respect the fact that their Monkey King is still dead and concede the Roshan to Pacific. So the second Roshan will go to Pacific. It's going to be an Aegis for Falco, a Cheese for Rezi. Falco goes right through the Twin Gates. He's going to see the Tinker pushing out the wave. Back up a bit. Oh, Lens is... Like, the longer this game goes, I feel like this Tinker is going to get just so disgusting. Working on a Scythe, which is going to be very scary. So now they're going to look for a duel onto Falco. They have the stuns. Can they bring him down? Or can Falco get dual damage themselves? No, neither dies now, and Drakey finally goes down. They pop the Aegis. Lens BKBs, and is just going to have to TP away. They get the Terrorize, but it doesn't quite connect, and the roll goes through, trying to get to the Tinker. Imbo will fall. And so they find the Aegis, but two heroes die for respective players in trade for it. And Pacific continue to bring the lead back to their side. It's really, they've had the lead for most of this game. After starting things off so well. And there's just a little bit of a dip where Radiant had it. But, I mean, still, like, the win probability is still so close. This game is so even. 32-32 in kills. 37 minutes. This is my favorite kind of Dota game. Thank you, Rezi. Alright, so now a bit of a lull as they lose their Aegis. Pacific not going to go crazy. Nullifier done and Butterfly. This Morphling has an absurd amount of network. 30,000 gold in 38 minutes. Something fun just happened with Lens, or said something in their comms. Respective players, they're going to go pick up their second Tormentor. It's going to be an Aghanim Shard for Andraki, which gives the armor. This is actually a pretty good one for helping give this Legion Commander a little more survivability. Armor per unit hit in overwhelming odds. Bot side Pacific going to start setting up maybe to make a tier 3 push. Rosen with that Ninja Gear personal smoke. Kind of hanging out. That's an interesting scan. Kind of scan. I guess they were scanning this creep camp, but I thought Rosen had just cleared that. Still have the cheese available. We're looking for buybacks. Ooh. Big buyback advantage for Pacific right now. That could be trouble. If respective players lose too many heroes, without buybacks, they could just lose the game. Yeah, I'm seeing that wrong, because I don't have it sorted. My bad. It's actually respective players that have more buybacks, which makes sense.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Yes.
Respective players finding some space to farm up on the Dire side around their tier 2. We're gonna get a smoke. Actually, just another personal smoke. What do we got for neutral items going? Multiple Ninja Gears.
For enemies.
They are going to find... Oh, JPC, this is more than you wanted to find. Duel comes out, Echo Slam connects, big damage onto Andraki, and the Legion Commander goes down. Io, the Aeon Shield, procs, and will keep them alive, but not for long, as Falco finds the kill. Lens brings down Rosen, and now beyond godlike, as finds Fako as well and chasing forward. This is the scary Tinker time, has the scythe, and finds a few big kills, and JPC, who started it all, is going to be the last to fall. Triple kill for Lens. Oh boy. It is Tinker time. That is another swing back towards respective players who just had a big jump up in win probability, as the lead is down to less than 1k net worth. It's completely evaporated, and respective players with this tower likely to fully claim the lead for themselves. Oh, Monster playing with fire there. Almost gets dueled by Ontraki. Yeah, it's going to be not just a tier 3 tower, as... So remember that time where I was wrong about which team had buybacks? Well, the team that didn't have the buybacks is the team that lost the team fight. And now, as Monstar gets brought down, out of nowhere, this might be a respective player's game. 90 seconds with no Rubik. And the respective player is just going to take down building after building. It's not going to be too much threat to their base. Well, I say that, but man, this Monkey King hits hard. Look at this attack speed from the overcharge. Gonna be buyback from Rubik and the Echo Slam onto 2. But immediately the response with the BKB back up to full. The heals from Io, it's too much. And Lens hasn't even arrived to this fight yet. Off on the side, there's a duel. Mondrake doesn't quite bring down JPC. Now the Terrorize comes out. Nope, it's going to get canceled, but Lens is here with the extra damage from the Tinker. And this is now a scary fight for Pacific. Jump forward, and they find the kill on the Io. That's a big one to pick off. JPC going to try to escape with the snowball for now, as Rosen chunking away, gets the fissure, another attack with the Enchant Totem, but off on the side, Lens has killed the rest of his team. There's too many things to look at. The fights are happening in too many places. As Rosen now has the Shadow Blade, and that will be enough to survive. But the Tinker is just such a huge menace, and now they find Rosen. They bring him down, the only hero with buyback left. But what can one Earthshaker do against the world with no Echo Slam? King wants to end it here, is just going to immediately start hitting the tier 4s. Creeps are coming in off of the top wave. No more Echo Slam for 25 seconds. What can they do? They can fortify. The buybacks here will respective players respect this buyback of the Earthshaker. They're going to keep hitting the buildings. Rosen needs to find something perfect, but also needs to keep the game going for 10 more seconds. Now jumps in with the BKB, but King wants absolutely none of it, is just going to keep hitting the throne. And the Ancient falls. Respective players bounce back and take game number 1. That was a wild match. This graph, I mean, with how huge of a spike respective players had at the end, the game was incredibly close. It was within 10,000 net worth until it was over. I mean, absolutely wild. It's, yeah, late game Tinker is like just not fair. Actually, it goes the Arcane Blink for the 200 health, 100 mana restart. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. That's going to do it for game 1. We'll be back soon for game number 2 to see if Pacific can bounce back and keep on their run, or if the number 2 seed respective players hold down their spot up at the top and go on to the semifinals. We'll be back soon to find out. Alright, and we're back for game number 2
5 seconds.
between Pacific and respective players,
Radiant's turn to
or TDL
Barriers
America's
turn
Pro
to
Series
battle.
25 quarterfinals. Respective players took game 1 after a
10
big back and
seconds
forth.
remain.
The overwhelming damage of the Tinker
5 seconds
in the late
remain.
game was too much for Pacific to handle, and that's why you see it be their very first ban. Respective players had the priority after Pacific won the game 1 coin flip. They chose last pick, which has seemed to be the priority for all our teams today. Pacific chose Radiant.
It is Dire's ban.
Respective players going to go with Dawnbreaker ban, then a very popular
10 seconds remain.
ban or
Turn
first
to
phase
ban.
pick. Timbersaw as well, so
Dire's
repeating the bans from last
It is
game.
Dire's ban.
They ban out the Earthshaker, so we're going to get a different draft setup from Pacific. They do respect it. It was a very good Earthshaker game from Rosen out of the mid lane. And the flexibility of that
5 seconds.
Earthshaker Rubik, it's been their signature in the 3 games so far today. Pacific also going to put respect on the Dark Willow. Upgraded Bedlam, very powerful, and played well into what respective players is doing. So we're going to get pretty different drafts on both sides, I'd expect. One more ban to come. It's going to be the Tusk. So taking away that save option that Pacific went with in game 1. There were a couple
10
very
seconds.
clutch saves from JPC. So I like that ban
5
coming out
seconds.
from respective players. One last ban for Pacific before we get our first pair of heroes. See if they continue targeting the draft of respective players from last game, force them to go with something completely different, or if they prioritize, like there's a few high priority heroes that are still making it through this draft as of right now. And with the Gyro Band, which means both Nature's Prophet and Invoker are on the table.
Dire must choose.
Would not be surprised. Oh, and Undying. This hero's been banned
It is
in all of our
Radiant's
games so far, and the response will be the
Skywrath
Skywrath Mage. So similar to the Dark Willow, going for that high magic damage support option for the side of respective players. And Pacific, with the Tusk Band out, they prioritize another form of
10
save
seconds remain.
with the Undying Tombstone
Radiant's
Shard.
turn to
Yeah,
ban.
Legion Commander has to get banned out. Andraki didn't have an amazing game on the Legion Commander, but definitely got there. And when you see the Skywrath Mage, you really don't want to play into that. That can just absolutely delete heroes incredibly reliably.
10 seconds.
One more ban from Pacific, and then one more from
5
respective players
seconds remain.
in the second ban phase. We'll have 10
Dire's
heroes
turn
banned
to
out before most of the draft locked in. It's going to be the Nature's Prophet. Makes it through the first phase, is going to get taken out before it can get scooped up by respective players in the second phase. I think it's an interesting one because the hero has
10
made the
seconds
move like
remain.
pretty much fully to support now. That you
5
don't necessarily
seconds
have a
remain.
lot of support players that play the Nature's Prophet. It's not the highest skill hero. It has a pretty high skill ceiling because you can do cool things with microing your treants. But I think that's an interesting dynamic of like it's a hero you have to be worried about showing up in your drafts no matter what. But I think it's not always super high priority because not every team has a player that's going to play it. So one more ban here for respective players. They're probably thinking about what their next pick is going to be as well, as this ban goes back to back with a pick.
Dire's turn to pick.
Going to be the Drow Ranger taken out, which makes sense. That's currently like a really oppressive lane duo, and they're going to go right back to the IO. They did not ban the Ancient Apparition this time. The Drow would be another option for getting some healing reduction, but the IO went very, like, pretty unanswered in that last game. It was definitely a key part of how respective players won. And it was, like, not just from the heals, but the relocates were very clutch. Getting to put your carry wherever you need them at any given time, like, it was big from respective. And in the hands of Jonu Pro, definitely was a big factor in that last game. And it's going to be, I'm curious what Pacific is going to answer it with. Is it going to be the Ancient Apparition that was left on the table? I would love to see it because I'm an AA spammer. But it's like an Undying AA support duo does not feel great. It's not terrible, but it leaves you a little lacking in lockdown. It's a lot of slow, which can be nice. They're gonna go for the Primal Beast. I wonder if this is their alternative to the Earthshaker for the, like, mega flexible draft. The Rubik was left in. Ooh, and they go for the Phoenix. Phoenix into the IO is a little interesting, because that Overcharge is a pretty decent tool. But Phoenix we'd been seeing get banned out in the first series. It's, like, it definitely got a buff with the Sunray blind that it applies now. I forget if that's just base or if it's on a shard. Spirit Breaker is going to be the first hero that respective players go to, so this is a little interesting. Because Spirit Breaker had been a support most recently. And Ember Spirit, I'm very surprised we haven't been seeing this hero. I didn't pay as much attention to what changes were made to Ember Spirit specifically. I imagine he got nerfed because he's been a very popular hero in the meta lately, but I think he's still very good. He's definitely still been getting played in, like, TI quals.
5 seconds remain.
Yeah, I'm surprised this is the first time we've seen him touched, whether picked or banned. Still not a ton of options to get through this egg. And not, like, an obvious IO partner. Unless... I mean, they're back to, like, the global presence, for sure. You've got Spirit Breaker, IO, and Ember Spirit are all going to be all over the map. The Huskar is the response from Pacific. We saw this got banned out last game. So, that is a bit of a spooky one. So, I imagine this is a mid-Huskar offlane Primal. I mean, I guess those two heroes can go kind of either way. But I think that's much more common lately.
10 seconds remain.
And then Phoenix Undying should definitely be your support duo.
5 seconds.
I expect to see some more ranged cores get banned out by respective players. There's a chance that you just play this Huskar in the safe lane, but I don't think that's very vogue right now. They actually ban out the Slark. I would think with the Undying as the lane partner, like, the Drow I think was on point. That's a well-known lane duo. So I would expect more heroes like that, but maybe the next best options they're not as worried about compared to a Slark. And a Slark does a good amount to be able to chase down an Ember Spirit. Templar Assassin, that one's been getting banned out a lot. That would be a pretty good one to pair with the Undying in lane.
Radiant's turn to pick.
Juggernaut will be the final ban of our Game 2 draft. Yeah, I agree that both teams are looking for their carries, unless this IO is a core. And again, like, the Spirit Breaker, I imagine is going in the off lane, but that's not something that's been super popular in a while.
5 seconds remain.
But they did also adjust, like, I think they were trying to push him away from the support role. I think he got nerfed because of his support role. That's another one that I don't remember exactly what was changed about the hero. They go back to the Morphling. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm a little surprised it makes it through. Because it's been very good from Falco, and it's going to be the Faceless Void. So we saw Pacific absolutely handle a Faceless Void. Okay, yeah, it is an offlane Spirit Breaker. Nothing crazy with the IO, unfortunately, because I think that would be fun to watch. Yeah, we saw Pacific deal with a Faceless Void, but that was also with a Naga Siren. It feels like a pretty good answer to the Huskar. I'm still a little doubtful how well they can deal with this Phoenix. And the attacks, like, Phoenix is going to love whenever Faceless Void Chronos, as long as he's not in it. Okay, yes, and it is Rezi offlane with the Primal Beast, Rosant mid lane with the Huskar. But nothing surprising, nothing weird with this draft. I mean, I haven't seen a Huskar in a pro game in a long time. Which draft do I favor? That the Ember Spirit Faceless Void combo is also always good. And you have an IO that can overcharge the Faceless Void, and you have the Mystic Flare. I mean, I said the same thing when KNGI drafted it. That it looked like a really good Faceless game, a really good last pick Faceless, and then Pacific just never gave the Faceless an ounce of a chance to participate in the game. Like, they weren't even focusing him super hard or anything. They just rolled over the game well before he could come online. Now, do I think they can do the same thing with this Morphling that they did with the Naga Siren? And the rest of the draft is very different, too. We don't have the Earthshaker and Rubik. So, I don't know. But I know that at least the players have the capability to do it. And like a Huskar Primal Beast, that is a pretty scary early game pairing of cores. Like this 2, 3, 4, 5 definitely can make a lot of space for the Morphling. And we've seen what Falco can do when he gets a lot of space on Morphling. Like even last game where they end up losing, I mean it was a super close game for so much of it, so. And this time there's not a Tinker to worry about, but there is an Ember Spirit and a Faceless Void, which are similar late game threats, so I think it's going to be big for Pacific to try to win this one early if they want to push it to a game 3. APC is going to step up and find a couple heroes in the form of King and Janu Pro. All 5 of respective players just sitting here waiting for people to step up towards this rune. They're going to start putting the damage out. They get the Blood Grenade onto 2. They're definitely going to get this rune, and it looks like they're not going to bother trying to chase down these heroes. Rosant picks up the other river rune, and it looks like the safe lanes will be able to safely go acquire their jungle runes on their way to land. The Phoenix Primal Beast lane, I think, is going to be pretty hard to deal with for King and Janu Pro. But you're always going to have, I mean, just so much regen between Time Walk. King actually doesn't even have anything skilled yet. Waiting to see if he's going to need Time Walk, if he should pick up Dash to commit onto a kill, or Time Dilation. What else we got going on these lanes? Undying is super low. APC, this is a hard lane to exist in. With Imba on this Skywrath Mage, like I feel like this is not going to be as much of a menacing Undying as we normally see. Mid lane both playing pretty low, but that's, I mean, Huskar loves doing that. He wants to be low. Same thing with Morphling. This would be a crazy Bloodseeker game. Oh, Morphling getting very low. But actually in a safe spot. That was his own, just watching up here, but it was his own attribute shifting. And lane, Rosant throwing out the Flaming Spears. Oh, Lens could be in trouble here. 5 stacks.
Thanks,
no,
and have
it's
fun.
Falco getting the First Blood on Drake bot side. To get the courier as well, as Imba tries to teleport away and does so successfully, but not before getting their items. So Pacific starting off strong again. Let's get our last hit chart up. Oh, wow. Huskar is decimating this lane. Lens has as many last hits as Skywrath and Undying. That's not good for respective players.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Other courier gonna go down.
One side's misstep is the
Times
other's
Monstar
cunning
finding King's courier. Should have learned from last game that the Pacific safe lane versus RP off lane is the place to watch. And Drakey looking to get some bracers going in the phase boots, as the Spirit Breaker always enjoys. Yeah, top lane, I don't know how you ever kill this Faceless Void, actually. Like, this is a strong duo, normally, but what do you do against Faceless Aya? How do you kill them? I can't believe how bullied Lens is getting. Like, Rosen is just crushing this lane. Which they did have the advantage of picking the Huskar after seeing the Ember Spirit. I'm remembering it. As top, they're actually going to find the kill on Rezi. So yeah, the regen is too much. They're able to dive under tower. Johnny Pro is pretty low, but is going to be able to escape. Now for 4 minutes, gonna rotate over here. Help out Lens, contest the runes. I mean, Huskar doesn't care too much about the water runes. He's not going to get a bottle as top. Yeah, they're just in time to see Johnny Pro die, with JPC making the rotation through the portal. King going to be in trouble now, too, without the IO to help him. Still has the time walk and picks a nice spot to do it over the little crystal pit here. JPC will head right on back to lane. But is going to try to step up. Rosen's sitting pretty low, and there's big nukes that can come out. This would be a huge help for Lens, but Rosen going to turn. Now we're going to get the rotation over from the Undying. He's going to go through the Twin Gate. Pops right in, throws out the salve onto Rosen. Now gets the decay. Lens playing on the knife's edge in this lane. Here come the flaming spears. Oh, doesn't quite get the connection of Inner Fire. Now they're root up, but the decay is going to finish it off. JPC gets the kill. Top lane, we get an uproar from Rezi, but just using it to last hit. And Lens is going to have a big road to recovery in this game. On Drakey, charging forward with Fago, has the strength shift and is going to turn right back around, throw out an adaptive strike. Once Rosen hits 6, this is so scary for Lens. I don't think he can keep existing in this lane. There it is. Yep, we're just going to immediately see the life break. Does get a nice remnant, but yeah, no, not, or just the sleight of his strike. Yeah, that's Monstar makes the rotation over to, I mean, both supports, which feels absolutely unnecessary. I feel like Rosen could have gotten that kill anyway. There's a party hat on the Undying tombstone, and on the Undying actually. Another part of the anniversary. I forget how you actually get those. Okay, JPC a little too deep here. And is going to get punished for it. The party's over. Drakey came to make sure of that. But now Drakey is going to be the one who has to experience the terror that is this Huskar. 29 and 17. Absolutely disgusting. But all of the denies on Radiant, like, they must have big XP. Now King looking to go forward with the overcharge, but was he able to just walk away? One's still just trying to get what XP and last hits they can with some Sleight of Fist, but man, this is rough. JPC is going to come over as well. Just really keep this Ember Spirit out of the game. Oh, Falco goes over and gets the Wisdom Rune in case you weren't behind in XP enough.
Dire's middle tower is
This is an incredible laning stage coming out from Pacific.
Be ensnared in fire.
Slayden Searing Chains thrown out just to try to get a little bit more space for Lens, who's now up to level 5. Ursley comes out, and they are going to charge with Andraki coming in on the Spear Breaker. Emma making the rotation over as well, but that TP is going to spook Rosen back a little bit. And they're just going to turn over to JPC instead. Now Rosen is doing pretty okay, has another life break on deck. Going to try to TP away for Andraki and is not going to succeed. The inner fire is enough for Rosen to finish off the kill. All of the action has been in this mid lane. Pacific just refusing to take their feet off the throats of respective players, and particularly Lens. Just such a brutal performance from Rosen, keeping this lane locked down, and then the supports, like, these cores are both fine in their side lanes. They're not, like, they're getting a 3v4 in mid now. There's gonna be a charge forward. Can they finally bring down the menace? Yes, Andraki gets the kill, and now JPC has gone into Flesh Golem mode, but is just gonna be able to walk away from that. You try to push forward. Monstar is the same level as Lens, and now Lens, like, finally the Huskar is dead. It's like, but now I got a Phoenix that's harassing me away from last hit.
Dire's bottom tower is no more.
Imba's gonna get a nice D-ward over on the side. That'll be a good buff. So the armlet is here for Rosen. 9 minutes in. Lens still just like one creep away from getting level 6 with JPC. Oh, it does finally get that last bit of XP. Remember, just gonna TP home. Can't exist here any longer. Tower's dead. They got the bot tier 1 too because Falco's been absolutely untouched down here. I mean, this is gross. They do chase down Imba over here in the jungle. Well, if Pacific can keep this train rolling, it's going to look a lot like their last Faceless Void game. It's now Falco's made the rotation up. Oh, but gets the time walk away. And now Andraki's showing up, so now could be in a little bit of trouble. Monstar's over on the side as well. Here's Rosen. Everybody's showing up to the top side. Tombstone's going to get dropped down. Imba's going to cancel the TP. Andre's going to charge away. And now it's just King and the IO left. They're going to back off and give up their last tier 1 tower. Monstar heads over to actually give them a little grief as they escape through the Twin Gates. Rezi's going to follow them over there, and Rosen's going to go right back to mid lane. Len's finally getting a little bit of space, but is barely ahead of the Phoenix. Just this lane absolutely destroyed by the Huskar. Respective players, they're going to find a little bit of space for themselves down in this bot lane. We'll see if Pacific come down here to keep the pressure up, or if they go get some space of their own. JPC throwing out the Decay. Lens throws out the Remnant back towards the side so he has somewhere to escape to if more heroes show up, and Monstar is on the way. It's the Searing Chains. JPC may be in a little bit of trouble now. Lens going to keep chasing forward with the damage, pops the Flesh Golem, soul rips into himself, and Lens is just going to be forced to back away as Monstar shows up. He's going to cancel the TP of Monstar. That's going to stop them from being able to save Rezi, who survives the Chronosphere, but is probably not going to survive much longer. Gets the Pulverize onto King and does finally go down.
Dire's top tower is in danger.
So respective players, they find a big kill, and they're getting the space they need. They're going to take down this tower. Falco, though, still free farming, almost finished with a Lincoln Sphere already. Starting with that item again to be just very hard to deal with. And getting those big stats from the Ultimate Orb. Huskar working on an Ags to follow the Armlet. Oh, to get the taunt on the life break? Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Len's just trying to get to a Maelstrom. Almost there. That'll help accelerate his game more. Get him back in it. We do have the Midas on King, so that's also going to be part of the catch-up plan for respective players. Overall, though, King has had a pretty good game. Hasn't died, got 2 kills, and is not far behind. Now, the life breaks here. Trying to get away, but is just going to burn down to the Flaming Spheres. Donu Pro falls. And they're going to come over to try to clean up the vision. As Rosent continues their absolute tear throughout this game. And Huskar is one of those heroes who can look at an early Roshan. It's 13 minutes in, but Pacific is pinging this out. Imba's going to get some vision in the area.
Radiant should look to their middle tower.
And Lens is getting some free damage on the mid tower. Has found the space, almost has that Maelstrom done.
There is little hope for Radiant.
So now into the pit they go on Pacific. Life break to start things out. Get the support of the Tombstone as well. Zombies just give him something else to click on. Should be a nice, easy Rosh. As the Flaming Spheres stack up and Rosh burns down. So 14-minute Rosh going the way of Pacific to help continue their role on this game. Smoking up now, all 5 heroes, they are going to try to get something off of the back of this, and their initial initiation is going to be onto Rezi, Prone Beast, who's trying to back away. JPC caught out as well. Now the life break comes in. Egg is going to be committed. They don't have the tools to get through it, although Jono Pro with the overcharge almost gets through it themselves, but ends up breaking it down. And now Fako transforms into the Spirit Breaker, able to chase down. They find Imba, and another adaptive strike brings down Lens, who's just trying to get away on the outskirts of the fight. So after a nice initial engagement by respective players, Pacific bring the numbers and turn the fight back around in their favor. 5k net worth lead. We're already at half of like the biggest lead that we had in the last game. Much more one-sided so far. But respective players, I mean, Pacific had the advantage first in game 1, and respective players bounced back in that one. So I'm still expecting this to be, you know, if King can find enough space with this Midas, has the Maelstrom now, Lens has a Maelstrom as well. These heroes get enough space to get enough farm. I think there's very much still a path back in for respective. The path back in is not going to be paved with another death by King, able to time walk away from the onslaught of the Primal Beast and escape safely. And Pacific really just keeping the pressure rolling, which is exactly what they want to do with this kind of lead. Keeping all the waves pushed in. I mean, respective players definitely have the global movement advantage by a lot. So it is hard to stay on top of these heroes. Normally we see the global movement as like, it's ways for respective to engage anywhere they want and be the initiators, but it works pretty much just as well for escaping and getting to safer spaces to farm. So they're ahead or behind, that global movement is definitely paying off. Helping them stay in this game. We have a few heroes smoked up. Lens TP's away at a good time. They're not going to find that. It looks like Imba is going to be the unlucky winner here. But Andrake's in the area. It's actually going to be Andrake who smoke breaks on. Is going to get the charge away. The Sunray not able to keep up. Spirit Breaker will escape. Top tower goes down. So respective players, they get the tower they want, and they don't actually lose a hero from the smoke gank. And 2 minutes left to go on this Aegis for Rosen to play around.
My waters rise.
Radiant should look to their middle tower.
And yeah, now King and Jono Pro right over in mid lane. It's going to be a life breakout from Rosen, trying to bring down this Io. Find the quick pick off. King is going to be able to time walk away. JPC looks like they want more. They're gonna run right up this high ground.
Should look to their
But King dodged off to the side. Oh no. But now, meanwhile, Andreki running into Falco. And that actually is going to not run into Rosent there. Or maybe Rosent, knowing that the Chronosphere was
Dire's
available,
top tower is under
that King
attack.
was still nearby, chose not to commit there. Now Pacific are going to look up towards this top tower, with 1 minute left to go on their Aegis.
There is little hope for Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower.
I mean, Lens and King, they're finding their space. King is right there, like, he's 1,000 gold behind.
Dire should
No, he's
look
not even,
to
he's like
their
500
top
gold
tower.
behind the Morphling. That's, like, very reasonable. He's having a solid game and now has the Mjolnir finish. So, he's got solid damage in Chronosphere, especially if he's being overcharged.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
They do finish off the tower up top.
Never refuse gold given.
Len's still working on the Boots of Travel. I'll join in that global movement gang.
Dire should look to their
Imba working on the Rod of
top
Atos. Very nice for Skywrath Mage after the adjustments.
Radiant forces.
Spirit Vessel being worked on by Monstar. Have Boots of Travel is the target for Huskar after the Aghanim Scepter is finished.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now that the Aghanim Scepter. Manta looks like it's on its way for Morphling. Draki has a Spirit Vessel of their own.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
IO has their full Holy Locket and working on a mech, so John Pro also getting pretty good money here, just following King around, helping them farm.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think this game is a lot closer than it looks right now, with the way that it's being played. Like, Pacific are getting these buildings for free, but respective players are getting the farm that they need. Both teams are kind of just getting what they want right now, and just not interacting with each other at all. Okay, I say that, but now we're going to get a rotation in from Lens. Has the Boots of Travel and wants to look for something.
Middle tower.
So hard to know when it's safe to go on a Huskar. It's just going to throw out Slight into Searing Chains. Meanwhile, JBC
Is in danger.
has found Johnny Pro and King farming and have pushed them off of that ancient camp. Let Rosen come in and take it up. Prezi going to help out with the trample as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's courier makes the ultimate sacrifice.
So Huskar's courier's picked off.
For enemies.
Didn't have anything on it, so not too scary. Now finds a life break onto Lens, but gets the Sleight of Fist away. Oh, TP is not going to connect. Pulverize is there. Imba tries to come in with the Mystic Flare, but it won't be enough. The creeps are actually going to block Rosent from being able to try to find
A dominating
Skywrath
performance.
Mage. Meanwhile, JPC gets left alone pushing out this wave, and King is going to find that no Chronosphere needed. Working on a BKB on this Faceless right now. Pacific once again going to try to push off King from where they're trying to farm. I mean, this Faceless, he's higher net worth than the Morphling now. Like, his farm has been pretty much uncontested. Even when they show up and say, hey, you can't farm here, like, they're not killing him because they can't, because he has an IO on him all the time. Draki trying to get the Wisdom Rune, does manage to get it, but will pay with their life. And 21-minute Wisdom Runes is also a good sign of 20-minute Tormentors. Paco will make quick work of it, get a shard, and that's exactly the shard you want. That's the grab ally from Tombstone. Give them that save option, which, one of the few things that can save you in Chronosphere, unless that's been adjusted. They actually do have good saves for Chronosphere. If you get the Aghanims on Phoenix as well, I don't know that that's really going to be a priority, but
Radiant's bottom
it's potentially an
tower is
option.
under attack.
Monster working on the Scythe already. getting charged. I don't know that on Drakey is going to connect. No, we'll cancel that. Now the Chronosphere is going to get committed. JPC is going to go down in quick fashion again. The TPs are going to come out. They get the life break onto the Faceless Void. Rosen happy to go on this hero now that the Chronosphere is already down. Has to be a little bit careful. I mean, it's so hard to know when a Huskar is close to being dead, and with no more Pulverize. Now they're going to connect with the charge, and they actually bring down the Huskar. Meanwhile, off on the side, Imba getting brought low by Monstar, but able to TP away. Respective players kind of get away with murder, as on Drakey going to do the same. No. The Onslaught is there, it connects, and it cancels the TP, but Drakey has a charge of his own. He'll run off towards the top lane, happily escaping. So all they lose is Io, and they get Undying and Huskar. That's a huge bump for respective players. This is what I think Pacific has to worry about. I think they might have kind of taken their feet off the gas a little too much. And we might see that early lead starting to slip away. Roche not quite respawning yet. It looks like it's a longer spawn. Still a minute to go. Closer to that 3-minute max timer. So Pacific go over there and check it, but they find nothing home. Or at work if you prefer, because this one's Roche's home. There he goes at night to sleep. Pacific will finish clearing out these tier 2 towers, and Falco is just going to walk right up and start hitting the tier 3. With the Manta Illusions, this tower is going down pretty fast, and respective players don't seem particularly interested in contesting it. They're going to get a teleport back from Imba, and that alongside. Fortify, I thought would be enough, but now Rezi's just going to step right up.
Dominating, I guess.
Skywrath was getting thrown all over the place in that Pulverize. Now dominating for Falco, as they do end up taking this tier 3. And so, I mean, this has been the story of this game. Respective players, they're just letting their buildings fall all over the place, but they're still getting their farm. At this point, I don't know if this one's as worth it. They lose a whole lane of barracks 24 minutes in, and now they're like, okay, Roche has to be up. We've done a good job of tracking the timings. We know when we took it, it's been a full 11 minutes. Ooh, they pick off... That's actually the Butterfly. That's a huge courier kill that Drakey gets there. Just being somewhere that... no reason to think that a Spirit Breaker would be. So, like the buildings, it is just going to be... free Roche. Well, maybe less free, because they're not going to be able to finish it off before it switches to nighttime and he starts going back home. They all get bashed up and knocked away as they try to squeeze in next to him through the portal. Meanwhile, King, I think, feeling the concern that they're probably doing Roche, the Roche goes off. Back up, but not fully. Still willing to play in this area. I mean, has the Chronosphere and the BKB ready to go. Rezi is going to potentially spot this out. Everybody's just kind of vibing, but no engagement yet. King is going to notice that courier and potentially chase forward. Going to walk right into Rosen, who's going to life break onto the Io. Now turns towards the Faceless. It's going to have to be forced to go over towards the egg, and the overcharge is going to come in. Phoenix Egg is broken. Rosen is now getting torn apart by Lens, who's shown up with the BKB, but now Falco is in with the damage, has the Butterfly, able to get it completed. Now the stun's up onto Rosen. Can they bring down the Huskar a second time? They can. Double kill for King. Over on the backside, they bring down Impa, but it's right before the Chronosphere connects. Triple kill for King, as Rezi's brought down inside the Chronosphere. Donapro is trying to get brought down. Finally, with the buyback from Rosen, they're able to finish off the Io. Now they're going to try to chase the Spirit Breaker, but he's been so elusive this whole game. They're just going to give up and take what they get. That's 2 buybacks from Pacific. I mean, that's a huge bump. The net worth lead is almost completely gone. I mean, this is This is what's scary about this lineup, is there's always a Chronosphere. Like, Chronosphere is kind of just the be-all, end-all, and so no matter how far ahead Pacific were, a good Chronosphere and respective players are right back in it. Net worth lead down to 2K. So game one was a big back and forth. So far, this game has been all Pacific, but starting to go downhill. And respective players looking to make the second comeback in a row, punch their ticket to day 2 semifinals tomorrow. Yule's almost done for Undying. Check out some of these other items we've got. Yule's also being worked on by Phoenix. Looking for more ways to delay Spirit Breaker, like all of these heroes, Ember Spirit, all 3 cores. You just want to go in. Also gives you a way to survive the Mystic Flare. A save for Chrono in some ways. You can Yule's up the Faceless Void. But he's pretty much always going to be BKB'd when he's in Chronosphere. Ag's being worked on by Ember Spirit to really get that mobility going with the Remnants. What else we got? As he doesn't have a BKB, is looking at a 3rd Yule's Scepter. I mean, the Dispels, I guess, are also important. Skywrath Mage going for a Scythe. Von Drake gonna run into Falco down here, who morphs into the Spirit Breaker, shifts into him, gets the BKB. Then just going back away. So yeah, Morphling ended up just buying another Quarterstaff after his courier died to finish the Butterfly, and now just has kind of an awkward spare Quarterstaff. He's looking at a Scythe now. The other Ultimate Orb item. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Ultimate Orb nerf coming up based on how these carries have been building. Lincoln Sphere being worked on by Andraki going to be a big help for dealing with the life break. But he hasn't really been the life break target. Refresher being worked on by Faceless Void. Looks like the MKB is done. That's a pretty fast response to the Morphling Butterfly. We're gonna smoke up now on that MKB timing. They were all just ready, waiting for that courier to arrive, and for the first time, pretty much all game, respective players looking to make an aggressive play. But it looks like the smoke is potentially going to completely whiff. Maybe now they're going to make their way back over. Yeah, now they're headed in the right direction. They see some of these heroes showing on the creep wave. Pacific is pretty stacked up, but Rosen isn't quite with them, so this is an opportunity for respective players to get another good fight. They smoke, but it's immediately broken by the other smoke, and it's a Chronosphere on to 3! Morphling is just going to get immediately deleted. There's nothing they can do to stop King. He has the BKB. He brings down 3. Make it 4 even, with Lens helping out on Resi. They get exactly what they needed, and suddenly, somehow, after a disastrous early game, respective players has the lead in game number 2. The comeback is happening. Off of the back of that fight, they're immediately going to turn that into their first tier 2 tower taken. Delete 1 middle tower. Lens over here threatening the next one.
An ephemeral masterpiece.
As it looks like Monstar drawn out on the map. This is the area we need to get control of. They scan out Pacific, Everybody's respawned. They're still pretty strong. This is a very close game at this point. Falco goes right in, jumps forward, has the time walk after morphing into the Faceless Void. The life break is going to throw Rosen all the way over, finishes off the IO, has the BKB back up, but the Pulverize is there. Pacific King trying to teleport away, the onslaught through, the BKB runs out, and they bring down King. Pacific immediately bouncing back on the respawns. Tricky thinks about charging that wave, but now he's going to be in trouble. Has the BKB, doesn't have a charge available, and the life break is going to give them the taunt that keeps him in place. Before he can TP away, they find another big kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just when it looked like respective players finally found their way back into this game,
Dire's middle tower
Pacific
is under attack.
get a huge jump. They're going to test what respective players have for buybacks, and the answer is not Faceless Void. That's going to be one Fortify going down as a Tier 4 tower almost falls. Lens throws out the Remnant but doesn't want to commit yet. They're right back to the Tier 4s as soon as the Fortify ends. They don't want to finish off that Tier 3 tower to give them another Fortify. So they're going to get the Tier 4s here and start hitting the Ancient. The damage from Falco. They get the Pulverize onto the IO. If they can bring down this IO, can Pacific just close this out here and now? Out of nowhere, the Ancient's at half health. What can they do? Their Faceless Void doesn't have buyback for another 10 seconds. He can't respawn before he even comes back up. Pacific take game 2 and send it to a game 3. What just happened? What was that? What was this game? It was... They finally came back. And then Pacific just shut the door. They catch King without a buyback and close out the game. What a treat of Dota games we've been treated to today in these series. We're going to a game 3. We'll be back with that for you very shortly. Alright, and we're back for game number 3. Got our deciding match between Pacific and respective players. Pacific came out with an absolutely dominant early game around their mid Huskar. An incredible performance by Rosend. And just when it looked like respective players might have been battling back and getting themselves back in it, Pacific slammed the door, won one last team fight, and went straight for the throne. Undying gonna get banned out this time.
10 seconds remain.
That was
5
Pacific's first pick last time. So interesting how some respective players won the coin flip and actually chose Radiant. And Pacific chose first pick, so like complete reversal of what we've seen the rest of the day for priority. Like every other match, second pick has been top priority.
5
So
seconds remain.
pretty surprised to see that one, not only did respective players choose side rather than pick, Pacific then, with the option for pick, didn't take second pick. So curious what they have planned for this draft. If it looks like they're being given the opportunity to go back to the Earthshaker Rubik plan, but after that got beaten once, I don't know that they'll necessarily go back to it. But it did, I mean, it was a very close game one. So I wouldn't say that that game should make them question the strategy that much. Respective players, they are going to put respect on the Primal Beast and Undying. So we're not going to have the same draft that we did last game. It's going to be the Phoenix that they prioritize and lock in first. And the IO does get banned out, alongside the Tinker. So no more Tinker shenanigans that we had game 1. IO taken away. What do they replace the IO with? It is Marcy. Most likely, anyway. I expect this Marcy to be kind of filling the role that IO did. And we'll see a similar kind of showing from Jono Bro, who was very impressive on the IO in both games. More so in game 1, just because respective players didn't get to make a lot of big plays because they were playing from behind in game 2. But still a good showing, and so I mean, Marcy we've mostly been seeing as a support with the big change to how sidekick works, but definitely can still work as a core. Storm Spirit gonna get banned out by Pacific. This is another one, and the Juggernaut banned out earlier than it has been, so that's a little interesting. That might be one of the high priority pairings with Marcy, I'm not sure. Yeah, the Storm Spirit we've seen Pacific keep out of drafts, both against respective players and earlier today against KNGI, so I think that's one of those heroes they just don't want to play against. Doesn't mean we might get to see another Lens Ember Spirit, but I think with Pacific having first pick again, if respective players pick Ember Spirit when they did last time, we might just see another Huskar game. Respective players might be debating if they want to ban out the Huskar here, just to make sure that that's not going to be on the table, because Rosen just decimated the mid lane. It's actually going to be the Mars banned out, so they actually ban 4 heroes that are primarily played in the off lane, with 5 out of their 5 bans for the first 2 phases of the. So very much targeting Rezi's hero pool. We're gonna go back to the Skywrath Mage. Did pretty well for them last game. It was a good showing from Imba. The Dark Willow was available again, but they didn't choose to go that route. So we're most likely seeing our support duo here. So not a lot of information for Pacific to pick into. We could... And I don't really expect them to go back to the Earthshaker Rubik, but they can.
Dire's turn to pick.
Okay, yeah, they bust out the Rubik and the Earthshaker. There it is. Awesome. I still really like this draft strategy from them. And again, they lost with it in game 1, but we saw they didn't play it in game 2, not because they didn't want to play it, but because Earthshaker got banned. Respective players now stealing the Morphling that Fako has played both games so far this series, and 3 out of 4 games today. And then we're going to get to see an Axe. I'm a little surprised that they go for an Axe and not a Legion Commander when they already have the Skywrath Mage. And this does pretty much confirm that the Marcy's a support. It'll be a Marcy Morphling lane, most likely, which sounds pretty good.
10 seconds.
I mean, Axe will do a very similar setup for the Skywrath Mage. I'm just curious what else they like about it. I guess it's a little worse of spells to steal for Rubik compared to... Like, Rubik obviously doesn't want Duel, but the overwhelming odds and the Dispel, the press the attack can be scary in the hands of Rubik, whereas Axe... Like, Call, you don't really care if Rubik gets, because you're just going to kill him. He's not tanky enough, even with the bonus armor. Dunk, I mean, can be good, but is a harder one to steal. Ooh, and Pacific are going to bust out the Chaos Knight with the Morphling stolen away. So that's your carry-to-carry matchup. And so we... Well, probably. This could also be an off-lane Chaos Knight. So we're looking for a mid laner for respective players, and I mean, probably an off laner for Pacific, unless that's where the Chaos Knight goes, because we know between Rubik and Earthshaker, one is mid, one is support, unless they have some other flex potential on top of what they've already been doing, these two heroes. And the Phoenix should be a support. So, like, that's those 3 positions taken care of. It's really where the Chaos Knight goes, which side lane. I think much more likely is safe lane. Yeah, it's going to be Enigma banned out, so respective players are thinking off laner is what we need to target. And so it'll be Enigma taken away. Meanwhile, Pango banned out by Pacific. So, yeah, looking at more of that kind of, like, space creation... early game potential, make space for Morphling, and really just, like, ruin the backline of a fight. Like, that's going to be really hard for Rubik to play into. And the Invoker banned out, so they're respecting the potential for it to not be a mid-Earthshaker or Rubik, or they think that the Invoker could go somewhere else. Both would be interesting options. Not what I would expect, but I think not completely off the table. And it can be scary to leave the Invoker in at this point, because that hero is really good. What else do you ban on the side of Pacific? Maybe like Queen of Pain? Maybe another Spirit? Like, you don't want to just give him another Ember Spirit game, so you take that out. Like, based off the Pango ban and the potential for this Rubik to be mid... Which, man, if Rosent plays Earthshaker, Huskar, Rubik, that's like, what a hero pool on this guy. Like, there's such completely different playstyles. They also are probably digging into this reserve time to think about their last pick. Yeah, it's going to be the Queen of Pain. Which, again, I'm expecting an offlaner. I don't know if they play Brewmaster. We saw that get banned out in Game 1. That hero seems pretty good right now. Tidehunter hasn't seemed amazing because of the change to his Shard. It's cool, and it's very good against certain heroes. But overall, it's not as good. It could be useful for the Morphling. Hold him in place for quite a while. I saw in a pub I was playing yesterday, we had it against Ember Spirit, and it really shuts down Ember because he gets leashed in place by the anchor. So we could see that come out. That would be a fun one to watch. It's laning with a Phoenix, so we're expecting a melee offlaner. I'm right down to the end of their reserve time. Or again, it could be a carry. Ooh, it's gonna be Doom. Oh, how does this Doom get through, actually? Because the new Doom, instead of muting, it cancels regen, which should just completely ruin Morphling. I've seen it, like, against PA.
10 seconds.
It's a huge problem, and a Morphling just... assuming it works the same as Ice Blast, which I don't know why it wouldn't, like, it means Morphling can't get health back by strength shifting. That's actually kind of an insane pick here. Respective players plenty of reserve time to try to answer this Doom. And if they really wanted, this Doom could still go into the mid lane. And they could put Earthshaker off. But I expect it's Rosin on one of the Rubik Earthshaker pairing, and then... Do I think... What I'm curious about now is, can I predict how they're going to set the Rubik and Earthshaker?
How might this
Having the
fight?
nuke against the Morphling, like, the Rubik was putting out so much damage in the game against KNGI when he was mid. With the Phylactery, there was also a line in the game, so he got a bunch of damage off of that, too. But, like, just the Phylactery Fade Bolt was a huge nuke and could be a pretty solid answer for Morphling and delete Skywrath Mage. So I kind of like the Rubik mid here more. Void Spirit is going to be the answer. We had the Void Spirit Earthshaker mid matchup before, and yeah, Rosin won it in the KNGI game, and so he is going to go back to the Earthshaker in this game. I think he's had a different set for Earthshaker. Maybe it's just because they've moved the hero around between players. It's going to be JPC back on the Rubik, Monstar back on the Phoenix. Yeah, nothing crazy on the other side. We're going to get to see King's Morphling instead of Falco, and yeah, Falco picks up the Chaos Knight Resi on the Doom. I can't believe with all of the offlaners that respective players bans, Doom gets through.
None
Doom
on
is
this
going to be a problem for
stage
Void
will
Spirit, too.
fight.
Okay. Like, it still silences. Doom still does a lot of what it used to. It just doesn't mute. Like, you can get your BKB off. But you can't use Wand, you can't use any healing item. Because you can't heal through it. I think that's going to be a... I mean, I guess the plus side for Morphling is that he's... Like, we've been seeing the Morphling rush Lincoln Sphere anyway. So the Morph's just going to get Lincoln Sphere, like, as fast as possible. But I really like this Doom last pick, and I don't know if Void Spirit is going to be enough. Especially knowing that Rosin can win that mid matchup.
Prepare for battle.
Alright, well, we will soon find out. Can respective players or Pacific find the magic in this Game 3 in what has been an incredibly fun to watch and close series? Oh, that noise is the party hat. That's what it is. I'm still curious how you get the party hat, because I've heard about it, but this is the first time I've seen it in game. So Pacific are going to go fully up into the triangle. They don't find anybody there as respective players. They stack up down in their jungle.
30 seconds and counting.
It looks like everybody is just kind of going to be chilling for this one. Unless Pacific choose to make a move from this spot. But with their smoke already up, well, they're thinking about it. Or Rezi's just going to go over here to try to get this rune. They can still come away with 3 runes, but Rezi is going to have to be careful because there's going to be 5 heroes of respective players stacking up on this rune. Rezi's going to have to immediately back away. The Battle Hunger is going to tick away, but it'll go down to half. And we get an even split of the runes at the end of the day. So nothing too crazy to start things out. Monstar and Janu Pro are going to trade blows a little bit as things get started in the lane. Rosen already with 1 deny. Curious to see how Lens fares with the Void Spear. I forget exactly how this lane matchup went. But I'm pretty sure Rosen won it against KNGI with Alien Mana Banana. Top lane, I mean, I've learned that this is where the deaths tend to happen, as the Battle Hunger thrown out onto JPC. Damage from Imba as well. It is hard to survive as a Rubik down here. He's gonna get pushed back. They all have the party hats now. Andraki has one, Imba has one. Lens has one. Yeah. All of respective players have the party hat. Oh, the blood grenade! The blood grenade from downtown gets the first blood, no way! Oop, 36 magic damage. Just been ticking out to the burn. And then the Kobe from Monstar to finish off the Morphling and pick up the first blood. Yeah, Rosen off to an early start in this lane, but Len's definitely having a better time than last game. We won't talk too much more about that. His top lane on Drakey falling low, but it's Fako that falls first. Now Drakey gets that kill. JPC, potential for the double kill, picks it up.
Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
So after the Rubik was getting bullied hard by all the damage from the Battle Hunger and Skywrath Mage, picks up a clean little double kill. Does cost the carry, so pretty even trade. And playing a little low down here. Monstar definitely, with this Phoenix, a bit of a problem for the Morphling. But the lifesteal from Sidekick is going to help. Rosen getting pretty far under tower. Resonant Pulse pops down. So that's going to discourage any more enchant totems coming through, as long as Resonant Pulse is available. Rosen just threatening to drop the stun. Dodges the Void Remnant. Now it's going to take some tower hits, so they're going to be forced to back away. Top side, everybody pretty much back to full, so pretty chill for the moment. King being forced to play so low. With all of the consistent damage. We're gonna start getting the Scorched Earth coming out from Doom too. Already had one clearly.
Top tower is under attack.
Top. Battling over the creep waves, and I left just when I shouldn't have. Pro picks up the kill. Yeah, Adaptive Strike comes in. Plenty of damage thanks to the Sidekick. So yeah, always... I mean, has to re-up it. Or no, it is just basically permanent buff onto King, and then it'll be stronger when they're closer together.
Fortified their structures against
Mid lane, we get a rotation from Monstar for the bottle refill. The Fissure lands onto Lens. Rosen, can they finish it off?
Killing spree.
Have the stick. Top killing spree for JPC. Now we're going to get a rotation from Marcy over here to try to relieve the pressure on Lens coming out from Rosen once again. Void Remnant does find the connection, and they get the lift, the toss back. Pro is a bit of a problem here, but Rosen will be able to escape. See salving up after the kill. Rosen is going to find a rune. Meanwhile, Monstar and Janu Pro are going to continue duking it out. Good amount of burn damage from the Phoenix. And still has an Icarus dive to play with. Now we'll actually turn over to the Courier, but doesn't quite finish it off. And is going to have to let Janu Pro escape.
eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
Lens is so low. You can see the scan. It is actually going to pick up Monstar coming in. Lens is like, well, I guess I'll leave, because I don't want to die.
For Radiant's middle tower.
So once again, Rosen, absolute madness, and once again, I forget to watch this lane, because for some reason, the Pacific safe lane versus the respective players off lane is where so many of the kills happen. I at least got the first blood with the cute little blood grenade, but I've missed a few of them up here. And we're getting another bottle refill, and the Echo Slam is there, and this should be a kill onto Lens. A creep eats the Void Remnant. King getting a little low down here too. The Fire Spirits aren't going to connect though, and so we'll be able to survive. I'm going to try to throw some of that harass back the way of Monstar. Now they're going to turn back towards Resi, and King has the damage coming out from the sidekick. One more auto attack will do it, but now King is going to be in trouble, uses the wand, throws out the adaptive strike, but it doesn't quite connect because he had to shift over to strength. Now the Icarus dive out, is King in trouble? No, gets the adaptive strike back with the stun, but now Rosen rotates in with the shield rune. They get the burn damage. Has the fissure, but he's able to cross it with the waveform. Runs out just in time for Rosen to be able to continue to give chase. Now, Pro, they get another adaptive strike to keep Rosen off, and it looks like King will be able to get away just but JPC. Oh, JPC, you could do something so funny right now. If he gets Vision of King, yeah! Okay, I shouldn't be that excited. But that's really funny that the Morphling sitting there gets caught. JPC continues their killing streak. Or no, did get brought down once, so it was reset. 4-1 now. Oh, I can't believe JPC actually found the vision there. Mid lane, Rosen once again 2 levels up on Lens now. They're gonna get another rotation over from Monstar. Lens has been just absolutely bullied by Rosen these past 2 games. Imba is going to counter the rotation as meanwhile JPC kills King again! Bot lane! The nukes! I was thinking it was a good reason to have Rubik mid, but he doesn't even need to! Just from the 5 position, JPC is finding the pickoffs with the Fade Bolt. Okay, Rosen now getting stunned up, and the damage from Imba is starting to stack up, and now we're going to get a rotation over from Andraki, who throws out the Battle Hunger, and now is going to get the call into Monstar, but Monstar doesn't really seem to mind. Rosen, in the meantime, is going to find an Arcane Rune and has an Echo Slam on deck. Monstar is going to pay for Rosen's dive and will go down. We got to keep an eye out for this Arcane Rune Echo Slam, though. It looks like Rosen potentially going for the Blink Dagger before the Aghanims this time. Past 2 times he's played Earthshaker, he's prioritized the Aghanim Scepter first. JPC is a menace, hunting down King with the Fade Bolts, getting deep vision, trying to find King sitting back on low health. Here's Johnny Pro is maxing. Oh, Rosen makes the rotation down. There's the Arcane Rune Echo Slam. They have the burn from the Sunray, but is it enough? Rosen now maybe getting caught. Get tossed back with the Dispose, gets the Fissure down, trying to bring down the Marcy, finally will, but now Lens is in. This would be a nice return kill if they can find the kill on Rosen. Phoenix brought down as well, and the Adaptive Strike from King brings down the Earthshaker. Oh no. JPC has the Astral Step and kills King again. The tips rain in all 4 of his team. Because for the 3rd time, JPC has found King sitting on low health. This is not okay. JPC is doing unspeakable things to this Morphling. Lens is going to be able to protect the double damage rune, or Rosen can get it, which would have been pretty scary. JPC is still playing down here, looking for where King is farming. Now is going to make a rotation over towards mid and see if they can find something on Lens. He's a little low on mana. Feels like Void Spirit has a tough time keeping mana up right now. I don't know if it's just the itemization or what. It's actually going to go Spirit Vessel rather than the Echo Saber build. Which for a brief time was very popular because it had 2 crowns in the recipe, but they took one of the crowns away because it was giving too much stats to Universal Heroes. JPC going to Astro Step in over towards Janu Pro. Gets the lift up and the toss back. Resi not going to commit the Doom, and so Janu Pro is going to be able to step away, but now through the Twin Gates comes Falco. Janu Pro has the pig pole and is going to be able to get away. Falco will just start farming up the small camp. King finding what space they can down here. I should have switched to Network a while ago. It's actually the Axe on Drakey, and it's the Axe that's showing up down here. Off the double damage on the Void Spirit, and they set up and immediately bring down Falco on this Chaos Knight, and they're going to try to chase forward for more. Resi trying to TP away. Can they get something? Yes, they get the Dispose in time, and now this Doom is looking pretty doomed himself. Resi falls. And respective players find 2 very important kills. Lens still has this double damage turn for a little longer. He's going to Astral Step over towards Monstar. Does not have level 6 for the egg yet.
Dire should look to their bottom.
APC still rocking this Astral Step, which is such a crazy good movement ability for a Rubik to have.
Dire's bottom tower is in danger.
Does it? I don't know if it scales. Oh, it just timed out. Because it's, well, it is magic damage, so it should scale off of the Arcane Supremacy as well. We're going to get smokes behind each mid tower. See if anybody... They're just going to go completely opposite directions. We're going to get a gank. Oh, up towards Falco. I wish I could watch both of these ganks at once. Both carries are in trouble. First it's going to be Falco. They get the call into the Mystic Flare. It's the perfect setup. And now bot, they still haven't connected, so let's go see what Rosen and JPC can do on the other side of the table. It feels like King is a little aware of this, but JPC knows where King likes to hide, and he's going to immediately blink in from Rosen. Went that Blink Dagger first, gets the Echo Slam. Now they get the Dispose stolen, which means that's a lot of displacement available to JPC. 2 levels in Arcane Supremacy, doesn't have to go much farther, but is maybe just going to let this go to Resi. But I've had enough kills. Rosen will be the one to pick it up. 7-1 on their Rubik. My goodness. Yeah, I think he was deliberately trying not to get the kill on the Marcy there.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is
Top side could have a little bit of a battle. Imba is actually going to find Monstar hiding here. Monster going to be forced to Icarus dive away, and TP will not get the chance to steal the Wisdom Rune.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. There is little hope for Dire's middle tower. Bottom tower has fallen.
Resi gonna pick up that bottom tower nice and quick.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now we just kind of go back to farming. Full Yule's Scepter, kind of an interesting start. Rubik is now. We're gonna get the call onto JPC. Rubik very quickly getting brought down. I think that was a visual bug where there was a Mystic Flare hitting him and we couldn't see it. Skywrath goes down. Now Marcy in with the ults. That's going to be enough alongside King to bring down Rosen, but now they get the Doom onto the Morphling. This is why they picked this hero. It is going to be a huge problem for King, at least until he gets a Lincoln Sphere. The dunk finds Resi. Jono Pro goes down to the burn for Monstar. Falco gets stunned up. They get another dunk onto Monstar, and Falco trying to bring down Lens. Lens just trying to escape now. The armlet toggles. Are they enough? The stun doesn't connect. Still has the pullback from the Reality Rift. Ultra kill for Falco.
Dire's middle tower is under
This
attack.
Chaos Knight survives through an incredibly chaotic fight, of which I would love to see a recap of. Everybody except Chaos Knight dies. Everybody except Chaos Knight goes down in that fight. That is hilarious. This has been a very fun game. The mid lane, Pacific taking advantage of the siege creep to shove in the tower. Almost finishing it off with that last enchant totem. Respective players, they're interested in contesting this. Rosen jumps in and gets the Echo Slam to pick off Imba, and this is going to be big trouble for Andraki, and the tower has gone down. Rosen gets a second kill. Now JPC trying to escape from Lens, they get the Reality Rift, and he's actually able to bounce back off of it, but they have the stuns, they have the damage, and Lens will go down. So Pacific, for the third game in a row, building that early lead. It's been close all this way, but on the back of a couple good fights, it's now looking like Pacific's advantage. But do not let that fool you into thinking this game is already over, because there have already been some crazy comebacks in the first two games of this series.
Here's me.
Radiant should look to the middle tower.
Airside gonna group up a bit. They've got the Echo Saber. It's gonna be a heart next for Fako. As he has the blink, how is... Okay, King has the Lincoln Sphere. So it's gonna be important to be able to pop that, but they do have quite a few options for popping it. They've got Telekinesis, they've got Fade Bolt, they've got Yules. Like, Rubik has 3 ways to pop the Lincolns. Phoenix doesn't have any. Whereas he can get something on the Eaton spell right now. He's just got the Thunderclap. As respective players looking to get some pressure going in this top lane. As King is here too, has the Yasha done for the Manta. It looks like they're going to back off rather than pushing in towards that tower.
Yes.
Both teams playing pretty content right now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fako is not far away from this heart. It's going to be a hard to deal with Chaos Knight. A haste rune from Lens for the smoke. He's going to see this courier. Try to use that to figure out where JPC is. It's actually going to be Rosen who might be in trouble. It's going to be... Oh, it's the instant blink out by Rosen. No chance to get the damage in. They're still going to chase through here. Haste rune has run out. They still got a few smokes going, but it looks like they're not going to find anything else here. And now jump in with the Echo Slam in the exact same spot Lens tried to initiate, but doesn't quite find the kill. Now Rosen's going to be the one in trouble, gets stunned up by the Void Remnant and brought down. So the Echo Slam isn't enough, and Pacific just forced to back away. Monster getting pinged out by respective players up here. King maybe looking to hunt something. Probably just looking to keep farming. They really just want to get as much farm into this Morphling as they can.
That should help.
Void Spirit also working on the Manta, has the Yasha. Back to the pretty typical build that we've been seeing from Void Spirits lately. Goes the Spirit Vessel instead of the Echo Saber to start things off. Resonant Pulse going to be picked up by Rubik. Probably not his preference of spells. The movement abilities Void Spirit offers is really what you want. Either Dissimulate or Astral Step, but pretty happy with just about whatever he gets. Get a pause from Void Spirit. And what a series. This one is already very close. like a decent lead for Pacific at this point, but still super, super close. We already see it starting to come back from that kill on the Earthshaker. What do we got going for items? Monstar once again thinking about the Scythe of Vice. Still getting close to the Heart for the Chaos Knight. EKB being worked on by Rezi on the Doom. Probably a Force Staff is maybe having some connection issues for Reiki. What do we got going for Rosen? Has the Aghanim Scepter done? I don't remember if he had that for that last engagement. And working on a Lincoln Sphere on Earthshaker. Try to protect
Dire's
from...
middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning for enemies.
I guess, like, the Morphling, like, ironically, is a hero that likes a Lincoln Sphere, also a hero that will respond to with Lincoln Sphere. Oh, we could get some classic... I mean, and we haven't really seen the Morphlings buying the Aghanim Scepter. There was the patch where Morphling had the talent to shift into an ally, and so, like, Earthshaker got nerfed because of things Morphling was doing with Enchant Totem, which was annoying. Because you could, like, you would draft them together, or you would draft Morphling against Earthshaker. Maybe that was what the Ags was at the time. Like, Morphling would get Ags, and so then he would be able to turn into his teammate, and then he would have the Earthshaker Ags. You could do the same thing with Dark Willow. Those combos. So maybe if this game goes super late, we'll see a Morphling Ags. So they can do Enchant Totem nonsense. As Pacific going to set up in the Roche pit. We've not had, like, any Roche fights. We had, like, one Roche fight in all 5 of our games today. Like, it's just been purely uncontested Roches every single time. And our first game of the day was 70 minutes. There were, like, 5 Roches taken in that, and none of them were contested. Like, a lot of them, like, sometimes it was, okay, they want to fight somewhere else, and then went to the Roche pit. A lot of them have just been, like that one, where it's just like, well, we have a bit of a lead, we're gonna go get Roche. And the other team is either unaware or doesn't care. It just keeps on farming, wherever they are. I find particularly interesting because Roche fights had been such a big part of pro matches. Like, at like Riyadh, it was the huge thing of like every game was just a bunch of Roche standoffs. And whoever won the Roche fights won the games. Yeah, more just uncontested objectives. Pacific chunking away at this tower. Respective players happy finding their farm elsewhere on the map. And they are going to get this top tower pushing in a bit, but I mean, they've got an Aegis on Rosen. They're pretty happy to just push right in to the tier 3s. We're going to see if we get much of a response. We have some heroes teleporting back. Len's maybe going to try to find something on the side. Has that shield ring that was in the bottle. Imagine automatically popped. Reiki waiting to see if there's an opportunity for a good blink call. Meanwhile, King just getting illusion damage out on this tower. It looks like Pacific, they're gonna go look elsewhere. They smoke up, but you just have like 4 players of respective in their base now starting to leave their base, and then the Morphling. So it's like, are you gonna find the Morphling with this smoke? Because you're not gonna find much else. Although I say that, and now they might find the heroes that have stepped out of their base. Or they'll just reposition and pick up this mid tower. Rosen, scouting up, looking for something. He's gonna find the jump onto Jano Pro, throws out the fissure. Adaptive Strike comes out from King. Now a nice call onto 2 into the Mystic Flare that's gonna be the Aegis. down from Rosen. Meanwhile, on the other side, trying to control up King. They have the Yule Scepter, steals the spell. Egg connects, but not really stunning anything, just manages to survive. Now they're actually going to back away. Donapro jumps in with the rebound. Now Falco's going to try to turn. They get a big Echo Slam. Doesn't do that much damage. King surviving Rosen. It's going to fall again, and Falco will as well. No, Rosen survives. But the Chaos Nade is dead. They have to try to escape now. And now respective players, they're the ones on the hunt. King still trying to chase down this Rubik, but the Yule Scepter has been a nuisance. They get a call over in the river on top of Phoenix and bring down another.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
The respective players.
Mirrors of my
Once again, I feel like there's been so many smoke ganks gone wrong in this series. Of like, one team smokes up and it looks like they get a good jump, and then the other team just completely turns the fight around. It's been very good counter initiation across these 3 games. Good spike in net worth. Pretty much across the board, Axe gets the most of it. We got Manta finish on Lens, going to work on the Magnum Scepter, the Silence, and the second charge for Resonant Pulse is very nice.
Mine.
Rubik has the Yule, still working on whatever else. It's going to be a gem next. Try to get some better vision control, because I think they felt like after that fight, that was probably a fight that the vision made a big difference. Rosen's still working on this Lingen Sphere, but maybe has pivoted. Shadow Amulet and Blitz Knuckles. So going for the Shadow Blade, which he's picked up in a few of these games. Monstar is still dreaming of having the Scythe of Vice one day. Rezi has finished the BKB, looking at the Ags next. So yeah, is going to go for the AoE Doom to not have to worry about the Lingen Sphere. But I don't... With the new Doom, I don't love the AoE Doom as much, because if you're going in and out, as they find another pick on Rosen, it's another Call Mystic Flare combo. They're going to try to get some better vision here, and they get the lift to cancel the TP, so Imba will be traded for Earth Shaker kill, but definitely happy with that on their respective players' side. Yeah, but I think if you're ducking in and out of the Doom with it being in the AoE, I think that's a lot less effective at killing a hero like Morphling. I mean, maybe you still target the Morphling with it, and then it also has the AoE around him if any teammates try to get too close, for things like Marcy going for a Dispose save, or getting re-upping, or sidekick, like interrupt things like that if they're really playing together. It'd be really nice if they had, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have a Darkseer because he's also offlane. If you had like a Vacuum to try to set up the AoE Doom. Like, I feel like you still want to make sure that it's constantly on Morphling and there's zero opportunity for him to regen back up. Glimmer Cape done on Skywrath. Isn't even going for the Rod of Atos because he doesn't need it. He has an axe. And the call, what's nice about an axe rather than the Legion Commander or the combo is that there is basically always a call available as opposed to a duel, which has much more of a cooldown.
For myself.
Heart finished on Falco as the Manta as well. This Chaos Knight's big. Morphling has overtaken him in the farm. Has the Butterfly now. See if they look to take a fight around that. Both sides definitely feeling how even this game is. See, there's actually a lot more XP on the side of respective players. As King gonna quickly pick up that Tormentor. Gives the Shard to Marcy. Now lets her rebound off of enemies.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
and also gives Marcy the speed boost. So a nice little upgrade. Nice, gives her just a lot more options to move through a fight. Might have the mid laners colliding here. Rosen being sneaky with the Shadow Blade and is going to find Lens. Does he want to commit? I think he wants to wait for there to be more units to go through. He lets the Manta get popped, but doesn't have the Fissure connect before the Dissimulate gets off, and Lens will survive.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now, it's going to be respective players setting up around the Roche pit. Not going to respawn for another minute. They are smoked up and could potentially look for something here. King's going to go keep on farming down in this area, but will be nearby. Has plenty of mobility to get on in if they need him.
Middle tower is under attack.
Bot. Rosen gonna scout out Lens again, but doesn't have the Echo Slam this time, so I think knows that doesn't really have the tools to kill Lens, would rather find something like Imba to bring down. And check Roche still not up for another 40. But they're keeping their eye down here. Effective players want to make sure that they get this next Aegis and the cheese that it comes with. And it's going to be on the Radiant side of the map for a while. We just switched to daytime less than a minute ago, so they'll have plenty of time where it is over here. Let's see if we actually do get a Roche fight now, as still 10 seconds before it respawns. Are Pacific going to consider going through this gate? They are just sitting here waiting. Lens is going to watch the Roche respawn, and they will get to work. Meanwhile, it is going to be a top tower taken in response. Once again, okay, the scan comes out, so they know this is happening, but they really don't have a way to get there from where they are. They're too far from the Twin Gates, and this is going to fall too fast for them to be able to contest it. So it will be yet another uncontested Roche, this time in favor of respective players. But that does mean they lose both of their top outer towers. They have no outer towers remaining, just the buildings in their base, compared to all of the tier 2s still being up for Pacific. Now they're maybe going to look for something up top. They go through the Twin Gates. The Pacific are leaving this area, and they're not smoked up, so they're not really going to catch anybody here. Rosen does have Echo Slam back up. The Pacific might look to take a fight around that timing. Has a double damage rune too. That can actually be huge. It's going to pop the double damage. It's going to run into King. Blinks away before anything can happen. Has the Aghanim Scepter to escape as well. Just ends up killing King's courier with one big whack. Still has the double damage rune going, so maybe wants to look for something off of it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Smoke up from both sides, but they're not really looking to collide with each other. They're just kind of chilling. Rosen looks like does get spotted out, but they're not going to go that way. If respective players can find somebody, Pacific is pretty spread out now, so it'll be a pretty easy pick-off. I see these illusions come out. They know Chaos Knight has been in the area. Looks like the smoke is not going to find anything.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
A bauble from the void.
And now, once again, more uncontested objectives. King has the Aegis, so it's just going to knock down Dire middle tier 2. And now chunking away at this tier 3, already through half of it. They're going to pop the Fortify, but they're going to need more than just a Rubik if they want to defend this. Thinking Sphere is going to get popped. Tier 3 is down, they're going to start looking at racks. Are they going to bring more heroes over, or are they going to let this Aegis Morphling do whatever he wants?
Structures are fortified.
They pop the Lincolns, maybe looking to make an engagement now. King morphs into the Chaos Knight, finishes off the barracks now, and Drake's in with the taunt onto the Chaos Knight. They get the lift up. Pops the AoE Doom, the Ags is here, and that's going to kill him once. Okay, this is a nice thing, is that he's respawning, and they still have the Doom going in the area, so he's going to be silenced up and prevented from healing, but he has enough move speed to get out. Marcy now steps in, has to be careful. Meanwhile, over on the backside, Rosen has picked off Imba. Everybody's going to chase away. Oh, they don't spot King in time. And able to TP out. Gonu Pro as well. And so it ends up just being the Aegis and the Skywrath Mage, but overall, definitely still a good help for Pacific in taking the lead back. I guess they've had the lead, but it was definitely feeling respective players favored, especially with them having the Aegis. Gonu Pro, can't believe there's not a fight over that Wisdom Rune. Or that Pacific didn't send somebody up there to steal it. They're going to ping it out now, but it's a little late. No Tormentor here either, so we'll just grab the Watcher. Now we're getting into more, like, last game, we had a super close game, and everybody was constantly fighting. Or no, not last game. The first game. Or just earlier this game. I'm getting them all confused. At one point, we were watching these teams be very close in, like, tower level, in network, and because of that, they were constantly fighting. Now, they're constantly avoiding fights, because they don't know if they're strong enough to take a fight. I say that, but respective players maybe now looking for something. They are going to find a Blink Call onto the Rubik. And yeah, I'm definitely getting a visual, but I remember having this before, that sometimes Mystic Flare just stops appearing. Very difficult to know when that's happening. Usually you can tell because the hero is being deleted. Their entire health bar is disappearing.
It is mine.
So we had the Ags reveal, Octarine Core as well on the Doom. Smoke up, but it's just going to be to kind of take some more map control back. Could get a collision over here as King chips away at some Ancients. Doesn't look like that will be the case. We do have the Scythe device finished on Phoenix. It is a dream no longer. Has managed to farm all the way to a Scythe. Is the most farm support by a couple thousand gold. Got Assault Kuros finished on Chaos Knight. Got the full Silver Edge and the Lincoln Sphere done on Rosend. Staff done on Imbo, who's now thinking about a Scythe device of their own. Gonu Pro has BKB. Yeah, we haven't seen that yet, at least not used. Lens looking at a Daedalus. Get those huge crits off of the... Oh, drops the bottle. What? What is happening here? Is leaving the bottle for Morphling to go get the double damage? And protecting it with the... That's very funny. I feel like there are other ways they could have done that, but I like it. Just leaves the bottle on the ground for King to go pick up himself. So with the double damage rune, King is going to start... Oh my goodness. Start deleting some barracks.
Get
Get smoked up. But the Waves are in trouble. They finish off the mid lane, but the side lanes are pushing in Dire's favor. Let's see if they decide. I mean, they know that Imba is taking that outpost. He's gonna be able to walk away. Looks like. APC with the smoke definitely has the move speed, and Rosent gonna find him as well. Pops the Lingen Sphere, jumps back, and goodbye. And here comes King with the BKB. Morse. They get the Doom onto him, and he's just going to disappear. The Doom is massive. Rezi now backing up. Jonapro getting shredded by the illusions and the Enchant Totem. It's 3 dead for respective players. Out of nowhere, once again. These games are so swingy. Minute and a half before we get another Roshan, Falco is going to go right up to base, and there's no King for a minute. This is suddenly looking a lot like the last game, where they don't have the buyback available. This isn't what I want. There we go. Buyback status. Yeah, quite a bit of gold short. And so they're gonna see that Morphling's not buying back. They're gonna hit these racks, even out the mid lane. Things pushing in their favor. It looks like they're not going to try to go right for Throne. They don't feel like they can end it quite fast enough for that, but they've got the Assault Cuirass on Falco. Like, these buildings are going down quickly. It looks like this time King will get a chance to respawn. 15 seconds until that happens. It's going to be another set of barracks getting absolutely destroyed by this Chaos Knight. The buildings in this game disappear so quickly. It won't be a full barracks. They'll leave the ranged barracks alone, but that is halfway to Mega Creeps before King is able to respawn. This game, I mean, oh, perfect timing from Monstar. I clicked away right as that was happening. But Monstar walked into the Roche Pit and saw it spawn. Finally, we're going to get our Roche fight as we get the smoke up from respective players. Wako setting up on the high ground. They jump in with Rezi. Do they have the Doom? Pops in the AoE. Oh, this is such a big problem for King, but he gets out with the BKB. He's able to survive. Jonapro is the one who goes down. The egg pops on the side, and that's going to be enough stun, but it has the cheese still on Len, so Len survives too. They can't find King, but now they finally do. They get the Reality Rift. He's trying to escape. He's still taking down to the Spirit Vessel, but he gets a waveform away. He's trying to go through the Twin Gates, and he gets through! Somehow he escapes. No, he TPs all the way home. How does he get out? How does King survive that? Oh, that's so crucial. He is still without the buyback gold. Axe goes down, but has the buyback available still. I mean, this is still definitely a Roche for Pacific. They win the fight, but they almost had the whole game right there. So it's going to be an Aghanim Scepter. Ooh, that's a freebie for a Rubik. That is a very happy Rubik. We'll see if that is... He's holding on to it for now, so not sure if he's going to actually consume it. Oh. King disconnects. I wish I could bring up a replay of the escape there by King. He was on 0 health. Bonkers. I would watch like just these two teams play Dota forever. This has been so fun. Still hasn't eaten it yet. Yep, tier 4. Well, actually, no. I guess those have been up for a bit. Oh, he's okay. No. Let's see. Scarith Mage getting closer to the Faith of Vice. see. Alright.
Now the fight resumes. But will it follow the same thread?
That should help.
Refresher being worked on by Monstar. Which honestly might be more for the Scythe than for the Supernova. But that'll be a pretty big one. Paco has a Scotty now. This Chaos Knight only gets bigger. 5,000 HP. Oh wait, they put... I was so focused on the Aghanims, which he still hasn't eaten. They also put the Aegis on Rubik? Wild. King, they step up, they find the Mystic Flare with the call, and that's Paco dead. Doesn't have the Aegis. Rezi goes down too. Pacific, that's going to be the Aegis popping. As Rubik goes down, but Phoenix doesn't get a chance to get the egg off. Everybody but Rosin's dead. What just happened? These games don't stop going back and forth. They find Rosin too, gonna get the blink away. They're able to chase forward. Looks like we'll have enough mobility to escape, but my goodness. Now it's the side of Pacific that have to worry about what they have for buybacks, as there's no buyback on Chaos Knight or Rubik. And with Sidekick, with a crit, yeah, they're going to have to buy back on 2. King is already shredding these towers. It's going to be 1 tier 4 down at least. Axe gets another call onto the Phoenix. Andre Key, another tier 4 falls. They throw down the Phoenix ulti, but it's not going to be enough. He just immediately goes down. That's a dieback. What is happening? They get the Doom. Okay, can they kill off King through this Doom, trying to survive, but there's no way to regen, but they get the buyback, and now Rosin's dead without a buyback either. Rezi's down, they're all dead! Rubik respawns, but what can he do? He can Fate Bolt them, he can reduce the damage a little bit, but King has arrived! The throne, they'll be able to fortify for now. Chaos Knight will respawn, but it's not enough. Out of absolutely nowhere, still 11,000 net worth in the hole. Respective players, they win the series. The tips rain down because JPC had the Aegis, and that could have decided that final fight. Pacific, I don't know if it was a misclick. Never used the Aghanim's Blessing from Roche. And oh my goodness. The graphs for all 3 of these games are so silly. This game was so wild. It started off with the Rubik getting these crazy pickoffs on the Morphling, but in the end, it's the Morphling who has the last laugh. Just completely deletes the Ancient, and there is no buyback available for the Chaos Knight. It's much the same way Pacific took the series against KNGI in that second game. Wow, that's going to be a hard one to swallow for Pacific. They lost with a net worth lead because they didn't have the buybacks and they had an Aegis on a Rubik. That is an insane game of Dota. I don't know what else to say about it, so I'm not going to say anything else. Respective players take the series 2-1. They will move on to go to the semifinals tomorrow. I don't know if their opponent has been determined yet. Yeah, they'll continue on. Pacific, I mean, they looked incredible. And, like, respective players are the number 2 seed. Pacific were 100% giving them a run for their money. I can't believe what we just watched. Satanic and Andrake here in the chat. What's up, guys? congrats on the win. That was a wild series. Satanic, I hope you're not saying anything bad, because I don't know what that says. Please be kind to each other, guys. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. I will send us over. I believe there's still another one of our quarterfinal matches going on. Currently, I'm not slotted to cast any games tomorrow, so just keep an eye on the Discord to see where those games are being cast. And have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the rest of the tournament coming up tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me.